상중립 화장실로 운영이 되고
written
있습니다.
translation.
우선 발표 해주러 오신 아시아의 5개국
So I would like to.
다 모였는데요.
So we have
네팔에서
5
발표해
presenters
주실
from
분은
different
줌을
Asian
연결해서
countries, and our
발표를
presenter
하도록
from Nepal will
하겠습니다.
be joining
발표의
us through
순서는
Zoom.
우선 대만,
First of all, we
태국,
are going to hear from
네팔,
Taiwan
일본,
and
그리고
also
한국 순으로 발표를
Thailand and then
진행하도록
Nepal, Japan, and
하겠습니다.
then Korea.
발표자 수는 20분씩
And
시간을
each
드리도록
presentation will
하겠습니다.
last for 20
한국
minutes.
성소수자 문화인권
maximum.
센터는 2002년에 만들어졌습니다.
was
이제 20년이
in
넘었고요.
20
2년
years ago.
전부터 저희가 성소수자의 나이 듦
From 2 years ago,
프로젝트를
we have
시작했습니다.
launched this project
1차,
on
2차년도에는
LGBTI
노후인식
aging.
조사를
We also
발표를
have
했고요. 최초의
conducted a survey
성소수자
on old age
관련해서
awareness
어떻게 노후에 대해서 생각하고 있는지를 저희가
to
조사해서 그 보고서를 지금 받으셨을 겁니다. 2차
to check
보고서를
understanding
보실 수
about
있고요.
LGBTI
그리고
aging
1차 보고서는 다운로드
LGBTI
링크
community,
QR코드로
and you
들어가신
can
1차
check
보고서도
on the
참조를
QR
하실 수
code to
있습니다.
look at the first survey that was
저희가 이
conducted by
나이든
our
프로젝트를
center.
시작하게 된
So we
이유는
got to
저희
start this
활동가들이
LGBTI aging project
20대
because actually
후반대에
our
활동을
activists who
시작했는데 이제
got involved
40대
in
훌쩍
activism in their 20s, now
넘어갔어요.
they are reaching
저희의
their 40s or
나이듦을
50s
생각하다
even, so
보니까
they started
성소수자의
thinking
나이듦을 한국에서
about
어떻게
their own
시작이라도
golden age
해보자라는
life, and
시작으로
then
지금
we got to conceive the idea for this LGBTI aging project,
이 자리를
and now we
가득
are organizing this
메워주신
conference for the
여러분
first time. So I'm
감사드리고요.
really happy to
멀리서
see so
와주신
many of you
여러분들도
filling this conference
감사드립니다.
room, especially
그러면
those who came all the way
본격적으로
from
시작을
other
하도록
countries. Okay,
하겠습니다.
so
첫
we're going to
번째
begin our
발표를
conference
해주실
now
분은
with the first
대만에서
presentation
와주셨습니다.
from by Chiwei Cheng from Taiwan, who will speak
무엇인가를
about
해보자라는
Let's Do
주제로
Something for
해주셨고요.
Aging.
그다음에
So who will talk about the situation in Taiwan
한라인
as regards this subject,
어소시에이션에서
and he is the director of social work
치웨이 청
from Taiwan Tongzhi Hotline
들어보도록 하겠습니다.
Association.
박수를
Okay, can you
부탁드립니다.
please give a warm upload, please?
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Chiwei Cheng, and I'm from Taiwan. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Thanks a lot. I'm so nervous. Yeah. Real, you can touch my hand. It's cold. Because this is my second time to speak with English, and I can speak well, but I will try my best. Okay. And I remember I work in Taiwan Tongzhi Hotline Association. It's the first and the largest LGBT NGO in Taiwan. And we founded in 1998. And in last year, I'm the volunteer. And I'm a university student. And I was young, I'm 21. Yeah, and until now, I'm 47. Yeah, so it's it's very how to say? Oh, it's so quickly. Okay. Wow. Okay, and thanks KSCRC invite to share our experience to talk about Hotline's work. Yeah, and why? Don't move. Okay. The last one. Okay. Yeah. 下一个 下一个，它有点奇怪。下一张。好 ，OK. And this is what Hotlines do. Yeah. And the most important thing we do is peer counseling. Okay. 好 ，peer counseling. Yeah. So we have the LGBT hotline. Since 1998, and we do something about community center and human right. For example, the same-sex marriage. We start to promote same-sex marriage right in 2016. Yeah, next. And and one of our important thing telephone consult, a telephone hotline, and we do the most important thing is gender education. In 2004, Taiwan passed the Gender Equity Education Act. I think it's the most important thing in Taiwan LGBT movement, because before that, in our school, maybe we can talk man and woman's issue. Maybe some teacher, they can teach student a little gay issue, but because our government never say yes or no, so most teacher, they won't teach their student about LGBT issue. So 2004 we passed this. It's very important. Okay, and in Hotline, last year we went to 200 school to have speech to teachers, our students, to talk about LGBT, to talk about HIV issue. Okay, next one. I'm shook. Yeah. And okay, because in Taiwan today we want to talk about older LGBT issue, but we have lots gender equity negotiation and policies. Yeah, almost 8 policies, and the most important is I told gender equity education. And but in 1997, in this law, sexual assault crime prevention act, this policy start to say yes to you can teach equality, gender equality in school. Yeah, and next. Okay, and most people know in 2019 when Taiwan passed the same-sex marriage right, but it's not equality right. It's not equality. For example, until now, if my partner is Chinese, I'm Taiwanese. Okay, I'm not Chinese. Okay, I'm Taiwanese, and I can marry my Chinese boyfriend. Yeah. Also, but if you are straight, I have girlfriend, I can marry my Chinese girlfriend. So now, until now, it's unfair. Okay, and next one. Okay, and we have lots of policy. Yeah, and so in Taiwan, our government, okay, our government have lots gender equity committee. One, in our executive yuan, the highest government department, our executive yuan, they are gender equity committee. Yeah, and they will invite school and NGO in this committee, and almost 3 or 5 times a year, and they will talk about the direction for gender equity. Yeah, so it's very important. In our policy, we have this, and in our executive yuan, there are a Department of Gender Equity, and they will organize last gender equity programs. For example, this year we have this National Survey on LGBT people's living condition. It's the first time our government do this, and if you want to know, I think our executive yuan put this in their website. I think there is English version, and because we have this survey, so our government know in Taiwan how many LGBT people married. Do you want to guess how many LGBT gay, lesbian married in Taiwan? 1,000? 1,000? 10,000? Between? Okay. No, more. It's 20,000 people. Yeah. So 10,000 couples. Yeah. But it's a few. It's not more, it's not a lot. For example, sorry. And I have a relationship with my boyfriend for 23 years. So these 4 years, everyone asks me, Chiwei, do you married? Do you marry? Fuck, yeah. And I say no. Why? Because my boyfriend, he doesn't come out to his families. Yeah, and he is a teacher. He's a university professor, but he feels his university is not enough. Is not friendly enough. Okay. And the third is okay. And last page is our central government, but in our local level government, all the country's government have gender equity committee. Yeah. So for example, now I am the Pingdong country gender equity committee board member. And 3 days ago, not 3 years, sorry. 3 days ago, I went to Pingdong, and we have a meeting talk about gender issue. Yeah, and the third here, and especially Taipei and Kaohsiung. I asked, if you went to Taiwan, people, can you wave your hands? Oh, one, just two. Oh, okay, welcome. And is anyone to go to Kaohsiung? 1, 2, 2. Oh, okay. Because Taipei and Kaohsiung is most important city in Taiwan. So there are a Tongzhi affair connection report. Tongzhi is mean LGBT. So in Taipei city government and the Kaohsiung city government, we have this. What is Tongzhi affair connection report? It's how to say, like in 2010, Taipei city government sent a letter to Taipei cities, all the Taipei city school, in junior high school and the senior high school. They want school to tell their students, you can go to LGBT organization. Yeah, our government, Taipei city government, ex-student can go to LGBT NGO. And so we feel so angry. So we went to Taipei city government to 抗议, protect, to say no. Yeah. After that, one of Taipei city government officer, Miss Yo, she is very nice. She sent a letter to Hotline, my association. She writes, sorry, I don't know why LGBT people are angry, and could I do more something for LGBT people? So I said, okay, we should have a cup of coffee. So one day, I went to a coffee shop with her, and I told her what LGBT people need. Why youth LGBT people need to go to LGBT association. After that, Miss Yo, she promote this Tongzhi affair connection report, and every year, 2 or 3 times, we will go to Taipei city government, include Taiwan LGBT NGO, include schooler. We will tell Taipei city government what LGBT people need, and our government will do something for us. So it's very important. Yeah. Later, I will talk about Taipei City older center. We do something together because this. Okay, next. Okay, and this is in exclusive yuan, and oh, it's too small. Sorry. And now I am I was the Ministry of Culture board member, Gender Equity Committee board member, and how to say that? It's how to say? In this committee, because the same-sex marriage just passed, so I will tell the Ministry of Culture what LGBT people need. So in Taiwan, in our TV show, we are more and more LGBT-friendly TV show in our public television. Yeah, I think it's very good. Yes. Okay, next. Okay. And the third one, I should introduce Taiwan's social movement. Yeah. First, later I introduce the government. But I think the social movement in Taiwan is very important. And the first is Taiwan's women's social movement. When 1980, the woman. I need a drink. Okay, and in Taiwan, we was the martial law country before. After that, the women movement start to work, and they start to care about lesbian issue, because lesbian also woman issue. Yeah. So if you ask us, it's honest. Taiwan's social movement is started by lesbian people, not gay people. Yeah. Yeah. And let me see. Okay, the fourth one. Okay, after 1990, yeah, and there are lots Tongzhi NGO in Taiwan, but we are so small. We are so small, and so we will participate all the social movement. For example, my first time to take rainbow flag in the Taipei street is anti-nuclear movement. Anti-nuclear movement is right. Anti-nuclear movement, right? Yeah, it's my first time. Yeah, and beginning, just 6 or 7 LGBT people work together, but we have a rainbow flag, so maybe 30 minutes, almost 50 people. Yeah, so in this moment, all of us think, hey, maybe in the future we can have the gay parade in the future. Yeah, okay, and okay, the next page. Okay, now I wanted to share what Tongzhi Hotline has done for aging. Yeah, it's my association. Okay, next. Okay, in 2000, Taiwan became the aging country, and lots of volunteers at Hotline, especially gay people, they are maybe they just 20 years old, or 30 years old, but they always say, okay, my God, I'm the old gay, no one love me. Yeah, especially gay people. And I think the youth LGBT people, they really don't know older gay people. Yeah, in Hotline, most volunteers are 20 to 50. Yeah, but we don't see 60 or 70 years old LGBT people. So we can imagine how is the older gay's life. We just afraid we will become old gay. Yeah. So in 2005, Hotline formed the older Tongzhi group. Yeah, and we want to let LGBT community know more about older issue, and our this. Yeah, the objective of older Tongzhi group is you will grow old, I will grow old, okay, before it's too late. Yeah. And next page. Okay, and this is a very important thing we did is we published 2 books here. And I say, because in Hotline, most of our volunteer is 20 years old to 50 years old. So it's real. We don't know real older LGBT life. So in 2005, we start to, we wanted to know more about older LGBT. So we start a oral history program. Yeah, and the first is this. Its name is Rainbow Metro Bus. Yeah, and the useful memory of 12-year-old gay men. Yeah, and in this book, yeah, this. We want to how to say? Talk to older gay men, but it's very, very difficult. We want to interview older gay people in internet, in sauna, in gay bar for 1 year, but no one answers us. And we say, okay, because 12 years ago, we are so young, so we say, okay, we can go to a park, the gay park, and we sit down there alone, and we want some older gay want pick me, yeah, yeah, and it's real. Some older gay sit down with me and touch me. I guess it's okay, and I can talk to him, and what's your name? Blah, blah, blah. And when I say, can I record? Can I write your history? He left. Yeah, he left. Yeah. So it's very difficult. And we ask our friend, do you know older gay people? And some friends say, oh yes, 1 or 2. I say, please ask your friend. Can we interview him? And all is say no, yeah, because all of I know most of them are in heterosexual marriage. They have wife, they have children, they never come out, so they don't want come out to us. Yeah, so but we are lucky. One day, one of our friends say, Chiwei, my friend is a gay sauna's boss. We call him Ama. Ama in Taiwan is grandmother. Yeah, Ama know lots old gay. So Ama introduced 12 older gay to us. So we published this, and after that, because the first published is about 12 gay people. So 2010, our lesbian volunteer and the lesbian board member say, it's unfair, just gay history. yeah, we need lesbians, older lesbian history. So we start to do this grandmother's girlfriend, but it's more difficult. Time is up? Oh my God. Okay, and we spent 8 years to write 18 lesbian life story. And these two books help us lots because now we can say we really know older LGBT's life. And in some when we have some meeting with our government officer, we can talk them what LGBT others needing. Okay, next. I'm so quickly. Okay, what's and next. Okay, and we know LGBT others history, but we want to know more about LGBT community, what we think about aging, what we think about long-term care. So 2017, we start to do some survey. The first is legalizing medically assisted suicide. Why we do this? Because in 2007, Taiwan start to promote same-sex marriage right. But in Taiwan, anti-gay group is stronger. They say no to same-sex marriage. So we want to, because, how to say that? Because marriage, same-sex marriage can make gay couple, lesbian couple support each other. Yeah, so if you say no to same-sex marriage, maybe we need this. Yeah, and 2019 we did a survey report of LGBT aging issue. Yeah, and this year we survey report on LGBT and family care. Why we do this? For me, now I'm a middle age. And my father and my mother is 72 and 75. They are older and older, and they need long-term care. And I must, for example, last month I went to hospital with my father because he have some healthy issue. Yeah. So more and more middle-aged LGBT people, they need no long-term care system. So we do this. Yeah. Next. I must quicker. Oh, okay. And every time we did the survey, and we will do this. This is a reporter conference, right? And I think it's lucky. Most Taiwan's media care about long-term care, care about gender, and so they are reporters. So it's lucky. Yeah. Okay. Next. And okay, and we did something about social education in Tongzhi community because most LGBT people, they don't know long-term care system. They don't know. Every time we ask LGBT people, what's your future when you old? Most of them say, oh, rainbow building, rainbow department. Yeah, and I can live it with my best LGBT friends. And I always ask them a question. Can you help your gay friend change his diaper? And they say, real? I said, yes. I said, oh, no, I can't. Yeah. So I think most of LGBT people, when they think their older life, it's healthy life. Yeah, okay, next. And we did, the first is working with other NGO. And it's very important too, because LGBT NGO is very small in Taiwan. I think in Korea is too, yeah. You just 3 full-time worker, everyone, you should donate this NGO, right? Okay, because Hotline, I must say, in Hotline we have 13 full-time worker. Yes, and you just 3. Yeah, and they did lots. Please. Yeah, okay. And because LGBT NGO is so small, so we must connect with other social NGO. For example, we connect long-term care NGO, we connect disability NGO, especially disability NGO. It's very important to promote other issue together. Okay, next. And this is, I say we have a Tongzhi report with Taipei City government. And one day we say how to help the older people know more about LGBT issue. So Taipei City government say, maybe we can try to cooperate this. This is, see the picture, next one. Okay, we went to, this is Taipei Neihu older center. So there are lots older people. So we went to, this is Ama. I say the saunas, gay saunas owner. This is Ama. I invite Ama to share his life story to social worker. This is Neihu older center's social worker. And Ama told them what is older gays needing, what is about our life. Next. And it's too small, but this is rainbow. How to say this? Thai, yeah. Yeah, this is all of social worker. Yeah. Because I told the social workers how to make this center gay friendly, LGBT friendly. I say you can wear this, and if I am gay, if I am lesbian, I am into this center, I will feel comfortable. Okay, next, and this is this. Okay, this is the lobby in the center. Yeah, when you come in, you will see this flyer. Next, this flyer is about LGBT. So for others, older people, they can take away to see this. Oh, and they will know this center is friendly to LGBT people. Next, and can you see rainbow? Yeah, and because I have every year I have a speech to the social worker in this center. So I told social worker, your space is too straight. Yeah, so more rainbow. So you can see here rainbow. Yes, okay. Next. And this is in Taiwan. Most if you are 40 years older, most how to say like most middle age, they can accept LGBT. Younger people accept. Yeah. So they are older people in this center, and we think how can I help them to know more about LGBT? So we do a cook for you. They are LGBT people. It's our volunteer. We cook, and we invite the auntie, uncle eat with us, and we will share our story. Yeah. And next. And we will eat together. And the auntie always asks, "Are you married?" I said, "No." "Do you have girlfriend?" "No, I have boyfriend." Okay. And we will. Yeah. So I think it's very good to help Taipei older people to know more about LGBT issue. Next one. Okay, and we do a lot about to have speech, gender education to long-term care worker. And before COVID-19, maybe 20 speeches. But last year we have 50 speeches with long-term care workers. Yeah, and it's very important. Next one. Okay, finally, okay. Thank you so much, and thank you for listening. Yeah, and this is Hotline, and welcome to Taipei, and yeah, welcome.
저도 듣다가
Yeah, so
시간이
as I was
너무
listening to
촉박하게
his
들린 게
speech,
아닌가,
I mean,
이런 미안한 마음도
I
들고, 저도
thought it was just
이야기에 빠져서
what a pity we didn't have enough time
더
to
들어야지 이렇게 해서
from him
이야기들
because it was
즐겁고
such interesting story.
이야기들 많이 풀어주셨습니다.
So thank you
박수
so
한번
much for
부탁드립니다.
interesting episodes. Thank you so much.
한국이랑 비슷하면서도
So I suppose
이제
things are
많은
quite
고민거리들이
similar
같이 나누는데
yet different in
이야기를
Taiwan
들어주시고요.
and Korea.
두 번째 이제 이야기를
So coming up
드리려고
next,
합니다.
so
두
we will
번째
invite our
10분에서
second speaker.
25분 정도로
It's going to last about for 20 to 25 minutes.
침묵의 목소리, 태국의
Okay, so we are going to hear the second presentation by Hua, Nachale, Boonyapisomparn, who will speak about silent voices, Thailand case, elderly transgender in Thailand. Hua Nachale Boonyapisomparn is a partnership manager from Astraea Lesbian Foundation for Justice. Please give
Hi,
a...
everyone. My name is Hua. My pronouns is she, hers, and I am a transgender woman. I'm from Thailand. So before I speak, actually, may I use my 30 seconds to ask everyone to stand up? And maybe just straight? Yes. All right. Yes. Thank you so much. Please sit down. Can I use this? Thank you. All right. So in Taipei, they call grandmother Ama, right? In Thailand, a lot of trans activists call me mother. I'm not a grandmother yet. But I think in the next 10 years, somebody probably start calling me grandmother. All right? So my presentation is Slide Voices, Elderly Transgender in Thailand. Again, my name is Hua Boonyapisomparn. I work with Astraea Lesbian Foundation for Justice, which is the funder based in New York City, but I work remotely in Thailand. In Thailand, I work with 3 trans organizations. The first one is the Foundation of Transgender Alliance for Human Rights, which is they are working a lot with transgender women, non-binary. Also, I'm working with Sister Foundation. Sister Foundation is in Pattaya. And Sister working with a lot of transgender women and also sex workers in Pattaya, Thailand. The other organization that I am the vice president of the foundation board is the Asia Pacific Transgender Network. So 3 of these organizations I founded many years ago, but it's not mine anymore. I just helping them support whatever they need in order for them to carry on a good work for trans community. Can I go to next slide? So let me give you the definition of transgender. Transgender or trans refer to person who identify themselves as a different gender than that assigned to them at birth. Transgender and trans person often identify themselves in ways that are locally, socially, culturally, religiously, and spiritually defined. Transgender people have diverse sexual orientation, gender expression, and gender identities. And transgender identified do not depend on physical appearance or medical procedure. So if trans people tell you that they are trans women, but they don't look feminine, they are trans women. That's the idea, okay? So next slide. So there are 314,000 transgender people in Thailand. This is the information from the Department of Public Health in Thailand. You think Thailand have more than 314 or less than 314,000 trans people? More, no? A lot of foreigners, a lot of people outside Thailand, when they come to Thailand, they always think that everywhere they go, they will see transgender women everywhere. Like transgender people are highly visible in Thailand. So 314,000 may be underestimate of the number of trans people in Thailand, but it is the number that the Department of Public Health used for their HIV program. So next slide. The reason I'm here today, because I'm going to talk with you about what I know best, which is transgender communities. I'm not that old. Actually, the person who's supposed to be here probably need to be 10 years older than me, but I'm here. So you're just going to take me. All right, so I may not have a lot of information like, Taiwan have done a lot of good things for the aging community, but in Thailand, I just want to acknowledge that there are very limited information when it comes to LGBTIQ plus order. Also, there are a lack of funding and program targeting elderly transgender people. Even though in Thailand, we have a lot of smaller groups working with younger generation. Also, a lot of LGBT organizations in Thailand, mainly they're focusing on health and HIV because that's the funding come from, no? That's the funding come from. So we don't have a lot of funding to do the other things. So a lot of organizations is just focused on only one thing, which is HIV, and some organizations working to promote and protect the rights of LGBT people. So because of that, plus in Thailand, even though we have a highly visible transgender community in Thailand, there are no any legal protection. For example, legal gender recognition is still not exist in Thailand. So in my passport, whenever I travel, I always get asked, or always, people always look at my passport, look at my face, because in my passport it's still Mr. Nachale, blah, blah, blah. So we cannot change that yet in Thailand, but the civil society in Thailand is working on propose the legal gender recognition law to the Thai parliament. As you may already know that we just have the prime minister from like 2 months ago from the last election. So now we just have to wait to see whether we can propose this law into parliament and whether this law going to be passed. So that's the question for the future. So today I'm going to talk about transgender. And when we talk about transgender, we often talk about transition, right? Transition, people transition from male to female, female to male. For elder people, I just want to say transition is happen any point in their life. So it doesn't have to happen early. When they were younger, some people may not feel secure at all, but when they grow older, they feel secure, they have financial secure, they start the process of transition because that's how they feel comfortable. I just want to read you this quote. I am 57 years old. If I have money or my health security coverage from the government that can cover my surgery costs, I would like to get top surgery. I do not like my breasts, nor do I like to wear a bra. I have never given up on my transition. When I was young, I did not learn about gender-affirming care and services. If the government provide coverage for gender-affirming care, I would be able to access this kind of service. This is the transgender I interview, and he is a transgender masculine. He is 57 years old. Transition and gender affirming. So in Thailand, you know that we have a hub for sex reassignment surgery. Everyone go to Thailand for that. But it's not affordable for Thai people. It's only for only people from outside Thailand being able to go to Thailand and afford that sex reassignment surgery. There are a wide range of prices in terms of sex reassignment surgery. If you don't have money, you may go to the cheap one. And the cheap one doesn't guarantee you that they are a good quality. I just want to give myself as an example. When I was 25, that was almost 20 years ago, I do breast augmentation, breast implant surgery. And I had to choose the cheapest price because I couldn't afford to pay, to go to the surgeon that asked me like a lot of 1,000 baht. So I have to choose the cheapest one. What that means is I just go to the clinic, I do breast implant. After 4 hours, I get out of the clinic. And that's my experience. So Thailand doesn't provide coverage. Every single trans person have to pay out of their own pocket if they want to do that. In Taiwan though, transgender in Taiwan, the government cover at least 30% of the gender affirming surgery, but not in Thailand. Information about gender affirming care health with transition decisions. So the reason why older people don't do transition because they don't have information when they were young. They did not have this kind of information. As you may already know, that gender affirming is really new to a lot of our country in Asia. This concept, these services just being talked, being discussed in the past, probably less than 10 years or a little bit over 10 years. So older generation, they don't really have information on gender affirming surgery. Therefore, because they don't know, so they don't do transition because they don't know that they can do it. So a lot of people I talk with, they don't really know that they can do top surgery, for example. If they identify themselves as Tom or transmasculine, they couldn't do that. So they decide not to do it. So this happened in the older generation. They don't have that information. Trans elder has insufficient income and may need to prioritize their other health needs. So as you grow old, you have a lot of illness. So sometimes gender affirming seem to be less important than the other, sickness that you have. For example, you may have diabetes, you may have that high blood pressure. That's some things that you have to control. And that's something that you have to pay for the treatment. So that's why gender affirming may not be a priority of the elder trans people. Trans people had and still have little understand of the potential list of different medical intervention and surgery procedure that's happening in Thailand. So next, I'm going to talk about other health needs besides the gender affirming care. Who is timing? So I just worry. I try not to go over my times. So let me see. It's okay, right? So the barrier to access to healthcare. Transgender population face a high burden of adverse health and disease outcome, including mental health, sexual and reproductive health, substance use, violence and victimization, stigma and discrimination, and general health. And this is the survey. This is across global. So wherever you live, if you identify as trans, you may experience that kind of issues for your life. LGBT older adults receive care. They may face more discrimination from their healthcare provider, and that is the research from MAP and SEC in 2017. They say that unconscious bias against LGBT people may shape medical provider quality of care, impacting their ability to appropriate care for LGBT older adults. Because when we go to healthcare provider, we not just go to to ask them for treatment or care for our health. A lot of times, the provider don't understand what it's like to be LGBT people. There is the research saying that transgender people, when they go to medical provider, they have to end up being an educator for their provider because their provider never understand what it's like to be transgender. Their provider don't understand the transitioning surgery. Their provider don't understand hormone therapies. The provider don't understand gender affirming care for trans people. So trans people have to end up educate their provider what it's like to be trans people. And that happened. Transgender people who have experienced prior discrimination by healthcare provider may miss his current and future healthcare provider. And that's happened when you experience discrimination from your provider. You're most likely not going back there. Because going back there, there is a trans person talk to me that he is sick, but when he go to see his provider, he have to deal with mental health issue. And that's not something he asked for. So he rather not going see any provider when he is sick. So that also happened, is experience from, and if you are older and you are LGBT, or if you're older and you are trans, and you don't really want to go to see provider because whenever you go to see provider, you experience discrimination and stigmatized from them. So that's also happened. Transgender describe low expectation of family care, and as well as negative experience with healthcare provider who were not sensitive to their trans identity. I already mentioned that. So now, quote unquote, this person, 48 years old, she lives in Pattaya, she is a trans woman. I am Nachale. When I cannot walk or have an illness, who will take care of me? Who will give me money if I do not have enough saving? I do not think my niece and nephew will take care of me. This is my concern. This generation is not the same as mine. Young people have their own life, and they may not take care of elder in their family animals. So that's a piece of thought from this person. Another person, 50 years old, trans woman, live in Bangkok. When I went to the hospital to treat my shoulder injury, the doctor asked me to take off my t-shirt. While being treated in a small room where everyone can see me, I told the doctor that I have breasts, and the doctor responded, "What the matter? You are still a male. Take it off. Do you still want to get treated?" I wonder if that doctor were me, how would he feel? And that's the experience when you go to see provider who may not understand what is transgender person and how to treat one. So, 5 minutes. For many trans people, regardless of their age, medical transition is foundational to their overall health and well-being. And this is the photo, one of the workshop I organized with the trans elder women. And this is one of the beautiful workshop because I feel like when we always feel like when we were young as a transgender person, we always compete to one another. We just want to be prettier than one another. But when we get together, when I ask these elder trans women to get together, what they do is that they connect, they talk. It seemed to me like they don't have a wall among one another. They just want to get connected, talk, share experience. So this is a very beautiful moment in my life. I just want to go quick because the time. One information that I think I should mention here is Transgender Health Access Projects, which is my project. I got the funding to do this project in the past 2 years. And I just the donor just give me another 2-year funding to do projects. And these projects I do to advocate for coverage for gender affirming care for trans people. And this is something I do now, also do in Thailand, a part of my full-time job. So yes, my projects, what I found is that more than half of people that I met throughout the projects, sadly, 3 elder trans people passed away because of chronic disease. 2 of them don't want to see doctor. But more than half people that I meet, they always have one chronic condition. For example, some of them have high blood pressure, some of them have diabetes, some of them have cancer, and no one can tell them what the interaction between the hormone that they use and the chronic disease that they have. And that's still issues that we need to invest and put more attention, put emphasis on getting more information for the elderly transgender people. Okay, let me read this quote. My physician does not care about my transition and hormone therapies. He only cares about the high blood pressure I have. I used to ask about having gender-affirming hormone with my blood pressure treatment. The only answer I got from the doctor was not to take hormone. I have no more question for him. กระเทย in other words, trans woman, use hormone. We do need to know all there is and stay safe while we are on it. So that's the experience from 50-year-old trans woman who live in Bangkok. All right. You know, there's information from World Bank 2017, 77% transgender people got rejected from their job application because of being transgender person. That means if we were trans people in this room, you know, we have 120 people, only less than 20 people have job. The rest doesn't have any job. So they have to do whatever they can to survive. And if they don't have job, how come they're going to have enough saving for their retirement? Thinking about that, right? And that is experience of the transgender elder in Thailand. All right, so I think I come to almost the end. Let's see this piece of information, very important from the UNDP in 2019. They do the surveys asking LGBT people. And one piece of the surveys said that 84% of transgender women have often heard that LGBT people will grow old alone. And this is the perception that shouldn't be perceived by anyone, regardless of their gender identity and sexual orientation. They shouldn't perceive like that. But it is the perception that the transgender people perceive that when they grow old, they're going to be alone. So we must do something about it. Last but not least, despite of the struggle I talk is so serious and so depressing, one thing, if you're alive and you're old, you are a very resilient person. They have a lot of experience to tell you how they survive all of this hardship in their life, how they survive all of this struggle that I already mentioned. They're still gratefully older and they still survive and they're still being able to tell you that story. I think that's some things that we have to give them appreciation as the transgender person. So my last slide is the recommendation, and just want to go to the 2 last recommendations, which is Thailand should develop specific advocacy program for trans elder and to overcome challenges that come with the intersection of their older age and gender identity. And actually this photo, when you think about transgender people, what the problem you think is only like pronouns and bathroom. That's the graphic from Pink's New. But actually, if you look on the right, you're right here. There's so many things that need to be discovered and that need to be resolved. So when you think about trans elder, they may have some specific needs and issues that they may not be having space to tell you, but they definitely have it. So what you have to do is to promote the visibility and need of trans elder. That if you have visibility, that is the only way that can increase support for them as the specific population in every society. And last but not least, nothing for us without us. If you want to work with trans people, have them speak, have them decide for their own life. They have that wisdom. If you are working with the government, you cannot decide for them. Let them decide for themselves. And that's very important note to end this slide, to end this presentation. Thank you very much.
네, 태국의 후아님 발표 잘 들었습니다.
So thank you for your presentation, Juan, from Thailand.
태국 이야기를 들으면서
So hearing the story from Thailand, I got to think that actually when she said that it's even more difficult for Thai people to go through a transition in their own country, so I was very surprised. And also legal gender affirmation actually does not exist in Thailand, what we already have in Korea. So I think there are so many things to be done in Thailand, even though we easily say that actually there are probably many things that have been done for transgender situation population in Thailand. However, the last message that you gave was very encouraging when you mentioned the resilience of transgender elderly. And also, as we get older, even if we look fine on the outside, we get to develop lots of medical conditions. So I think all these different factors are related to each other. So now we are going to listen to the next speaker.
So yes, this presenter could not join us face-to-face, which is why we are connecting to this presenter via Zoom. We're going to invite Sarita Casey. I suppose she's on standby. We are going to take a look at the Zoom screen. So for your information, though, the lady in green, she's the official photographer. So don't get surprised if she goes up to you and take photos. So she'll primarily focus on the presenters. So we are archiving all these photos for your information. So once the presenter is connected and online, we will get started.
저희가 아무래도 이제
So as you may know,
조금 시간이
we are experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties and there is a little delay. I don't think we have enough time to go and use the bathroom, but we do have some water, OJ, and coffee as well. So please go ahead and enjoy the beverages that we have prepared for you. I think we have enough time to just quickly go and grab a coffee and come back.
지금 뭐 시간이 정확하게 얼만큼 걸릴지를 이야기를 해드리는 게 나을 것 같아서 25분에 다시 이 자리에 오시면 네, 이야기를 들을 수 있을 것 같습니다. 25분까지 잠깐 쉬는 시간 갖도록 하겠습니다.
3:25. We will take a 5-minute break. Thank you.
그리고 나가시면 그 커피 마시는데 앞에 저희 센터 굿즈가 무지개 굿즈를
So we are
비롯해서
selling. We are
책자나
also distributing rainbow goods from KSCRC. If you go to the coffee place in front of the door of this conference room, so please have a look at them. Thank you.
Hi, Sarita, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you, and even I can see.
Yeah. Mic and sound is wonderful. We will start 3 minutes later.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So, is it okay if I turn off my video, or is that so? Or do I need to, on my?
You,
Yeah.
you cannot share the video because we don't have enough time.
Okay. No. I'm not talking about that video. I'm talking about my live video now. Right now,
Okay. Okay, please wait more minutes. We will tell you when you start.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Hi, Sarita.
Hi.
Okay, let's play. We are miking test. Please tell something.
Okay, so can I start?
Oh no, not yet. But we are needed to mic test. So
Okay.
please tell something.
Share something. Okay, so hi everyone. How are you? Can you hear me? So, am I audible?
Can you keep talking, please? The
Okay,
interpreters
so
cannot listen your voice, so we need to test something.
okay, sure. Okay, so hi. It's been so good to be here to share my personal experiences with you, and thank you so much for this time and this opportunity to share my experiences with among all the participants from different zones. And yeah, so do I need to continue or I just stop? Mm.
Yeah. So we
Okay,
are
so
almost ready, but we have the sound problem. So can you keep talking? I'm so sorry. Can you introduce yourself to people? Because people
no,
are
I
waiting
mean
for you.
it's like okay, so yeah, so how are you all? I don't know what to say. So
Yeah. Where is your organization?
okay, so my organization is Mitini, Nepal, and yeah, I am executive director of Mitini, and it's been 9 years that I have been in the LGBTI movement here in Nepal.
So can you close your voice to the microphone? So we need more bigger voice.
So I need to mute myself?
No. You should speak the louder. I think louder.
Okay, so I mean my voice is so low. So now, Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Just interpreter cannot hear you.
Oh, that's so difficult. I mean, how? Okay, so I don't know what to do.
Yeah, you cannot do anything. You're speaking very well right now. People can listen very well.
Okay.
So, what is your main topic in Mitini, Nepal right now?
Okay, so my responsibility in Mitini is definitely I'm ED, and there are so many responsibility that I have to take care. One is the planning, preparation, and implementation of all those planning and all the work, the project that we will do. So besides that, the relationship with the board members and donors and all the civil society. So this is how I have been working, and even with the community members as well. So
Thank you.
yeah, this is how I.
Audience right now. 여러분 죄송합니다. 저희가 지금 통역사분이 소리가 지금 잘 안 들어가서요. 그걸 테스트를 하느라 시간이 좀 걸리고 있는데 조금만 더 양해를 부탁드릴게요. Okay, we are still testing.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
But I mean, before it was not happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were in the rehearsal and everything was okay. And what is happening now? I mean,
Everything is okay in the conference hall.
let's hope so.
And you may see the screen later. We have like more than 100 people came to see you. Not only me, but you.
Okay, so everyone is looking at me and I can't see them. Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, they're almost done. Please wait just a bit more.
Okay, I will. So this is how the internet, glitches every time.
Yeah, it's horrible. 정말 저런 시스템을 만지는 건 쉬운 일이 아니네요. 저희가 준비를 얼마 전부터 계속 테스트를 했는데 몇 날 며칠을 준비를 하고 테스트를 계속 했었는데도 당일날 이런 일이 벌어질 거라고 상상을 하지 못했고요. 가끔 시스템은 저희의 능력을 벗어나는 뭔가 신의 영역이 아닌가 이런 생각이 듭니다. 조금 준비가 이제 조금만 더 마무리가 될 것 같은데요. 네, 전 시간을 때우기 위해서 뭔가 떠들고 있는 게
We are
맞고요.
almost ready. Sorry, we are just trying to fix the technical problems. So thank
저희가
you
지금
for your
저희
patience.
저희 이제 소식을 이제 어디서 들으셨는지 제가 막 여쭤봤었는데 저희가 21년부터 성소수자 노후에 대한 활동들을 계속 해왔고
So we have been involved with these activities
작년에 저희가
relating
성소수자들의
to the
실용 강좌들을 계속 진행을
LGBTI aging from
했었는데요.
the year of
그중에 이제
2021.
동성
We have been
커플을 위한
also
법률
giving
가이드
lectures,
강좌가 완전 대박이
including
났었어요.
legal
700명이 신청을
guidelines
하고
for
400명이 들어오셨었는데
LGBTI, and
그때
this
정말 저희가
lecture
그걸
that we
보고
gave
아
on this
우리한테
subject
정말
was
필요한
very popular
것은 어떤
with
뭐 담론이나 이런 게 아니라
almost
우리의
700 people
현실을
trying to
사람들이 어떻게
register
해결할
to
수
the
있을지 얘기를 하는
lecture
거구나라는
because
걸
we
깨달았고
were talking
그래서
about
저희가 그때 그
real
강의를
problems
기반으로
about what we have
동성
to
커플을 위한
do
실용
to be
법률
prepared for our
가이드북을
old age.
제작을 했습니다.
And
그래서 뭐
based on
저희가
this
판매를 하기도
lecture,
하고 뭐
we got
텀블북도
to
하고
publish a
사람들이 그거를
guideline book
저희가 뭐
for
책자를
couples of
만들어서 판매하는 게 저희
same-sex,
재정 사업이 되기도
and we are
하지만
also selling these
그것보다
books, and this
저도
helps
동성 파트너와
us
살고 있는 사람으로서
financially. But
그런
it's not the only
법률적인
thing,
도움들을 제가 사용하지
because
않더라도
as a
그걸 할 수
person
보고
living
그런 게 있다는 거 알게
with
되는
a
것만으로도
partner,
저한테 큰
I
마음의
could
위안이나
obtain such
도움이
valuable
되었다고 생각을 해요.
information. So
그래서
it
다른
really helped
분들도
me
그걸 다 지금 읽고
otherwise as
실행하시라는 것이
well.
아니라
So
집에 보험 하나 들어놓는다라는 생각으로 책자를
you
이렇게
can think
가지고
of this
있으시면 좋을
book
것
as
같습니다.
insurance.
네,
that you keep at your house. So please, I'm just recommending you to buy one of the books that we publish on this subject. And also, we are looking for more members for our organization. Like the speaker from Taiwan just mentioned during his presentation, there are only 3 of us at KSCRC. Well, we're not only engaged with activities of our own center, but also we go outside to give lectures in cooperation with other organizations. And I think people actually imagine our financial situation to be very optimistic just because 3 of us are so good at what we are doing, I guess. But it's not really true. So I would highly ask for your cooperation and funding as well as a member of our center. Okay, well, anyway, thank you for listening.
네, 식은땀 나요.
Okay, well, I'm sweating
저희 단체는
now.
아까 말했듯이 2002년에 생긴 단체예요.
Anyway,
저희 또 발표하면
KSRC was
살
born
얘기들을
in
막 여기 조금씩 풀어놓고
2002.
있는데
Actually,
처음에
this
생길 때
is
저희
one of the things that I was going to say
단체는
during
모든
my
성소수자들을
presentation,
다
but
아우를
I'm
수 있는
already
단체를
starting to
만들고
give these
싶어서
details. So we wanted to
한국
create an organization for
성소수자라는
LGBTI
이름을 써서
community,
만들었고요.
and
2년
therefore we
동안
give
저희
this
단체는
name
뭐
to
다른 단체들을
KSRC as
인큐베이팅 하기도
Korean
하고
Sexual Minorities
아니면은
Culture and Rights Center. So we also
성소수자
play the role of
운동에서
an
비어있는
incubator for
부분들을
other
계속 찾아서 뭔가
organizations,
해왔던
and
것
we haven't tried to
저희가
find gaps that exist
Okay.
in the
Sarita, can you hear me?
LGBTI. Okay, can you?
Hi, Sarita.
Hi.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? So
Yeah, I
it's still
can hear
the
you. We
same
are
thing
almost, I
happening?
think we are almost ready.
Okay.
Can you speak something?
Okay, something. How are you? And so many people are here to join our conference, and yeah, it's so good. Still, I need to speak more, or that's it. I mean, it's like I'm reading news in front of.
Okay, now you can start. We can see you right now.
Okay, so I can speak now.
Yes, 기다려주셔서 감사합니다. 박수 한번 쳐주세요. Yeah, you can start.
Okay, so hi everyone, and thank you so much, Korean Sexual Minority Culture and Rights Center, for hosting Asian LGBTI Aging Conference, and it's so good to be here to share my experiences working on LGBTI elders issues in Nepal. So I am Executive Director of Mitini, Nepal, and it's been 9 years that I have been working with the movements, and I'm so proud to be a family of Rainbow family. And so you can see the screen here, one lesbian and one trans, so they are in a training that Mitini has provided on about the leadership training, because since we came to know that our elders, it's so difficult for them to share their stories, and this is how we are building their capacity to share their personal stories while doing the lobby and advocacy. So this is just one glimpse that I would like to share with you. So in the screen, you can see the situation of the LGBTI elders in Nepal, that we found about the housing vulnerability, because most of the elders, they are living in a barren land or open land, which is not registered in a personal name. And also we came to know that, the elders are also living in a rented house and living alone, because there is not anyone who can, support them. So, and another issues that we found is the legal identity, since it is still difficult for the LGBTI communities to get their, citizenship, while the Constitution of Nepal has already guaranteed to get the citizenship, but in the reality, still it is difficult for young LGBTI people, and even we can think about how difficult for the LGBTI elders, because there are, many clauses that the community has to follow, and with that, some of the elders who adopted a child, and even it it is difficult for them to register the birth registration of that child, and it makes them so many difficulties because the child is in now school, and the school is requesting for the parents about the birth registration, and they are not able to submit that birth registration. So this is how it is difficult that they are facing, and with that difficulties, even the conflict is happening between the partners, the mental health status is also with that difficulty. So and another issues that we found is in religion issues, that is in Tharu communities and Tharu communities. So it is quite accepted by those communities, because the most of the trans people are dancing in the different ceremonies of the Tharu communities when they celebrate, and at the same time in Muslim communities it is quite difficult. Not only it is so difficult for the people of the LGBTI communities, because it's a Muslim communities, and it is so difficult. Even one of the transgender women, she shared that she has to pay a fine because she used to dance, and that is against their community rituals and all those things. So this is how the elders is facing difficulties. And also we found that the communities has been facing discrimination when it comes about the equal payment, and still there is a discrimination to the LGBTI elders, because one example is as the transgender women, they have been dancing in different functions, programs, and ceremonies. So they invited, so that was the conversation happening in phone. And when they reached to the place, and they came to know that they are elders, and the wages that the person mentioned before, and the wages that the community member get after their performance was really low, and sometimes even they did not get that payment. That is about the the work, that being a dancer, that they have been facing such situation. And even in all other sectors, like some of the transgender men they are working as painters, so during that time also they are not equally paid. So this is how they are facing the wages discriminations. And also about the family, society, they have been facing discrimination because of their gender identity and sexual orientation and sex characteristics. So, and about the social security. So in Nepal we do have in constitution article number 41, so there is social protection and security for senior citizen, but it is only for the heteronormative or binary people. It is not for the LGBTI community. So this is how the communities have been discriminated by even laws. And we do have a Senior Citizen Act 2006 in Nepal, but which stand as a significant milestones in recognizing and addressing the rights and welfare of elderly populations. But as this is also about the binary people, and so this is how. And also recently in 2018, so there is the Social Security Act. So it is a significant piece of legislation that aims to ensure the well-being and protection of the senior citizen, and where again, so we need to have a conversation and have equal rights for the LGBTI communities in these laws, in these policies, and these act. And the most of the laws and act are from the 2006 and 2015. So we need to have a strong conversation on this. And again, so we do have shelter home in Nepal. Government of Nepal had their own shelter home, and even the private, companies or private sectors has also their own, elderly care home, but that is not LGBTI friendly. So this is how the situation that we found here in Nepal. And about the health, I completely agreed with the previous speaker, what they share about their personal experiences. definitely there is a diabetic patient from the community, blood pressure, HIV, and hospitals are not accessible. When it comes about the health services, even the doctors are not sensitive about LGBTI issues, and definitely the elders issues too. And we also found that many elders have been facing the mental health issues like sleeping disorder, anxiety, so many things that are happening because of the multiple aspects they have been facing. So the pixel that I have shared in this presentation is the Vice President of Nepal honored one trans couple who have been living since 25 years. So the elders are from the outside of the city, and they have been honored by the Vice President of Nepal on May 17th. So where we host a program, and so this is how. And also, since Mitini Nepal has been working from 2002, but even we have been learning so many things from the elders, and we also discover unexpected, issues that we never thought before. And, when we work on an LGBTI Elder Advancing Project, that was really a learning thing for us. And so there are some of the things that we found that we never think about before is definitely the housing vulnerability, as I mentioned, that many of the people are living in separately and in the unbarren, lands. And also we asked to the elders that, do you know about the elders security allowance? And do you know about the Senior Citizen Act and everything? And most of them said, no, we don't know about these laws and policies. And even we found that our elders, they don't have legal documents, and it is quite difficult for them to get the senior citizen allowance. Even they don't have bank accounts. So this is how they are suffering. And the another thing that we found is the geographic area. It is really far. It is really far. They are living from the cities, and it's so difficult to be reached on those places. Even some of the vehicles, they don't want to go there because it's really far, and even the roads are not good, and they are living in such places. And we are thinking that what if they get sick? What if there is any emergencies, cases is happening? And this is how they are living in those areas, because they don't have any land, they don't have any property. That's why they are living in those places. And also we came to know, and we found that there is a language barrier within the LGBTI elders, so not only we are talking about the age within the LGBTI elders, we came to know about the intersectionalities of the LGBTI elders. There is caste, class, religion, language, and everything is, those things are also, happening within our elders. So it was quite difficult even for us, because even for me as well. I was trying to speak with them, but they are using local language, and which I don't know how to speak. So it was so tough for me to communicate with them, and we reached to the locals and who can translate in the local language to Nepali language. So it's like, so there is this kind of diversity is also existence within the LGBTI elders. And another is the lack of digital literacy. So we are thinking about the Zoom meetings, all those calls that is happening, but it was not easy for the elders, because even they don't have any smartphone, and some of them has a smartphone, and it's quite difficult for them to how to use those apps, how to install those apps. So it's quite difficult for us to have virtual meetings, to have calls with them. So this is what we found. And also we learned so many things from the elders, because since we are also young, I mean the previous speakers shared that they're also young. Definitely we are also young, and our elders open when the organization organization was not founded, when the organization was not officially open. So at that time they opened, and it was quite difficult for them to reach the communities, And, so we also learned from them is Mitini Nepal becomes a safe space for them to share their stories, as well as a resource center, because we provide them information about what about the LGBTI elders. If they want to meet some elders from one province to another province, we have those connection, and we can also connect them. And some of the elders, even they want hormone therapies and asking where should we get those hormones, and we had some information, so we can also providing such information to them, and also about the health facilities like mental health session, because we have been doing few sessions with the elders about the mental health session, how we can be prepared when, so when it comes about the mental health, about the anxiety, such symptoms came out, so whom to reach, So we have some contact with the psychiatrist, counselor. So we also share those contact details to the elders so that they can reach to those, counselor to counsel, to share their stories, But another bitter reality is we found that many of the counselors are unaware about the LGBTI, issues and all these things. So some of them are aware. So we share those who know about the LGBTI, because it's all about the confidentiality and the things that is happening around the elders. And also the other opportunity, definitely, we also share if the program is happening or something is happening. So we also engage the elders to be on those programs to raise the LGBTI elders issues. And, through the Elder Advancing Project, we also empower elders how to tell their stories, public speaking, even, two of the elders, one of the elders, Lesbian, who is from the rural area, she shared her story on the CSW session, and that was a really, good opportunity to, share those experiences in the international forum. And also in IFA, the aging conference that was happened in June in Bangkok. So one of our elders shared their stories in that conference. So that was the, opportunities that our elders took after that public speaking and telling stories. So this is how they have been empowered, and also we were able, because we have also collect data of the LGBTI elders. So that data help us to fill the gaps of the fill the gaps of the issues of LGBTI elders in the movement in Nepal. When it comes about the LGBTI movement, we just talk about the young people and adult, and now we are also talking about the LGBTI elders, And also we build a new connection with the elders organization, federation, and even within the LGBTI elders whom we never met before, So this is how that project helped us to connect with our elders. So in this picture, you can see a transgender woman, Kajol, and she was about to get her citizenship, but her father did not sign in that citizenship, and she did not get the citizenship. And she is now 65 years old, and still she don't have citizenship. So this is how the photo was taken during the story that she was sharing with us about the citizenship that her father did not sign her. And so here is the landscape analysis, the research that I was sharing with you about the impact of age discrimination in LGBTI person in Nepal. So the research was happening in 6 provinces of Nepal out of 7. So in one province, we did not get the contact of the LGBTI elders, because we have that. We have those connections, but we cannot find the LGBTI elders in one provinces, and the respondent was 100. And we found that 56% elders are living in urban area, and 44% are living in rural area. And also during that research, we found that 83% were assigned male at birth, and 16% were assigned female at birth, and 1% were assigned intersex in birth. So, and we also asked that, how many have the citizenship, and 88% share that they have Nepali citizen, and 8% they did not have citizenship, and 4% they don't want to reveal about their citizenship. So, and also we asked about, since there is age limitation in Nepal, so the elderly age is 60, and it is quite difficult for us to get the 60, age of 60 LGBTI elders, because we have a less number of the elders. So we consider as from 50 as eldest person. So 50% were 50 to 54 old, and 41% were 55 to 69, and 9% were 70 to 75. So it means the age are from 50 to 75 where where responded in this research. And also we asked about their identity, and 68% identify themselves as a transgender women or a third gender, and 9% identify themselves as a transgender man or a third gender, and also 8% identify themselves as a lesbian, and 9% identify themselves as a bisexual, and 6% identify themselves as a gay. And we also found that there is a confusion, because in Nepal, so there are different terms that are used in different provinces. So in the constitution of Nepal, so we recognize as a gender and sexual minorities, but those terms are not used in few provinces because they have their local language which they are used. So this is how we also found these things. And also about the landscape analysis, so we asked about the relationship status of the LGBTI elders, and 13% they share that they were married usually with same-sex partner. Ritual marriage is as a ceremonial, celebration of a same-sex intimate partnership, as is not legally recognized as marriage. So it's like living. It's like a two-person just do their own things, but that is not legally marriage. And also we found that 24% had more than one spouse at the same time. Some of them had a legally married heterosexual spouse and a same-sex partner, and 4% refused to share their relationship status. And the 31% were still single, and 15% were in a heterosexual marriage. Some LGBTI elders is a heterosexual marriage were forced to marry, because during that time there was not any organization, and they share, even we don't have any friends, because how to connect and to whom we can share this, identity, the sexuality and the things about their experiences. And also we found that 5% were widow, and 8% lived with their heterosexual spouses. And also we came to know that they shared that who were married as a heterosexual this year, it's quite difficult to get a dignified life, because my spouse did not take care of me, and even my son and daughter, they did not respect me and didn't care about me. And I am eldest, but even I was ignored from them and not respected at all. And I also want to share about the widow, because we do have single women allowance here in Nepal, but it is quite typical for those single women. For instance, we one lesbian, she had been living since 35 years with her partner, but during the COVID time, she lost her partner, and she was not still yet recognized as a single woman, and she was not able to get the single women allowance. So this is how the situation is happening. And we also so this is how the things is happening. and also about the well-being and health of the LGBTI elders. So 78% do not have a disabilities, and 5% had physical disabilities due to paralysis and chronic back pain. So it is quite difficult for them to move here and there. 1% had slight impairment, and also 12% reported having mental impairment, emotional issues, and 4% did not want to answer. And about the health and well-being is 5% was in excellent health, and 40% were in good health, and 20% were fair health, and 22% is in good health. And also 7% is in poor health, 2% is very poor health. And physically, poor health, poor physical health was attributed to diabetic, hypertension, lack of nutrition, lack of exercise, lack of sleep, reduced immunities, lack of access to health services. And we also asked that, about the health, so we asked how often do you visit in hospitals, and they share that 40% share that they visited a doctor once or twice in the past 6 months. It means, the community, especially the elders, they really visit to the doctors, and 10% share that they reported that 3 or 4 doctors visit, and also 4% they share that at 4 doctors visited in the same time period, and 44% they share that they have not been to the doctors in the past 6 months. So this is how the health status that we came to know. And also we also asked about the education of the LGBTI elders, and we came to know that 50% LGBTI elders in the study were literate, and 15% were studied until a lower secondary school, that is grade 6 to 8, and 9% were studied under upper secondary school, that is grade 9 to 10, and 7% completed their school education examination, and 5% they share that studies beyond secondary, that is 10 to 12 classes. So this is how we can find the education level of the elders in Nepal. And also, we have some of the recommendations, that is especially because, out of 100 respondents, they have multiple recommendations and the experiences they share. And we have 2 of the recommendation to the central government of Nepal, since Nepal has 3 tiers of the government: federal, provincial, and local level. So we do have a recommendation to the federal government must mainstream the gender-sensitive approach to address LGBTI elders issues, including LGBTI-friendly infrastructure, spaces, economic opportunities, and the services. And also, the provincial government must address the urgent, immediate needs of LGBTI elders and develop programs that support LGBTI elders to live dignified lives. And LGBTI elders must be consulted and involved in the design of this program, because Nepal has different, groups, thematic groups, think tank groups, and we are expecting that the, provincial and the federal government also include the LGBTI elders when it comes about the senior citizen policy, senior citizen act program. So they must include so that the LGBTI elders perspective also come in those programs and the policies. And another that the recommendation that we had to the parliament and legislature is there must be the regulation for enforcing existing laws that protect LGBTI, and for the LGBTI inclusive implements of the social security programs. And also, we do have, the few recommendation for the civil society or non-government organization for senior citizen. They must ensure that LGBTI elders are provided with inclusive and culturally sensitive services and support to address their unique needs and challenges. And we do have also recommendation for the women rights activists and National Women Commission they must advocate for inclusive policies and programs that address the unique challenges faced by the LGBTI elders and promote their access to healthcare, housing, and social services. And again, we have the recommendation to the civil society, health, NGOs, and the related relevant government agencies must monitor and assist where LGBTI elders are able to exercise their right to food, right to health services, right to information, and right to non-discrimination on ground of their gender and sexual minorities status. And we do have also recommendation for the media. They must increase positive coverage of LGBTI elders, increase their visibility, and challenge stereotypes about the LGBTI older person. And we do have recommendation to the LGBTI communities, activists, and the organization. They must promote better understanding and acceptance of LGBTI older person and elders in the LGBTI community. And lastly, we do have, recommendation to the like-minded stakeholders must ensure that LGBTI elders are included in the agenda for sustainable development goals, including in development of SDG program and can access SDG program benefits, including but not limited to programs that address need of Nepal's marginalized community. So this is how the recommendation that we prepare from the research that we did. And again, I would like to share that since we are working with the elders, at the same time we are learning from them as well. And I have one experience is to be on the aging conference that was happened in Bangkok last June 2023. And I mean, there was two LGBTI session that we hosted. And came to know that so many programs are about the care work for the elders, but we think about that what is about the care for the LGBTI elders, when it comes about, because since most of the communities, the reality is we are disowned by own family at the young age, and we can even think that who will take care of us when we became older. And the elderly care home, we cannot afford to pay the monthly payments. And about the government shelter home, it was not accessible for the LGBTI elders because in that elders, the grandparents are living there, and their mindset and their understanding to the LGBTI elders is the same how our grandparents treat us, and it's quite risky to send our LGBTI elders to those shelter home. And I think this is our responsibility. Our means we LGBTI activists and we young people has those responsibilities to take care of our elders, because they were in that situation when the movement was not started, and at that from that time to till now, even they are fighting for the rights for us. So we need to think about them, and we have to keep supporting to our LGBTI elders so that so that we can also fulfill our responsibilities. And this is the last picture that we take with the LGBTI elders from the different provinces of Nepal during the meetings with them. So yeah, thank you so much for this space to share my experiences working on the LGBTI elders issues. And if you have any questions and concerns, then do let me know. Thank you.
네, 온라인으로 기다려주시고 또 참여해주셔서 감사드립니다.
Thank you so much.
제가 이제
So
시간
she has
체크하면서
joined us via
말씀드렸는데
Zoom once again. So
채팅창을 못
thank
보시는
you.
것 같았습니다. 네,
I
그래서
have
어떻게
reminded
제가
her that
이렇게
she was
기록을 할 수
running out of
없었지만
time, but I
역시
suppose she could not
열심히
take a look at
발표를
the
해주셔서
chat
너무
box. But
감사드리고
anyway, thank you so much for your
질문사항이나
presentation. And
나중에
if you have any
프로그램이랑
questions at
같이
all,
연결되어서
we're going to have a
다른
Q&A
나라들이랑
session later on.
같이
So
이야기를
please
할 수
share your thoughts
있으니까요.
and
그때
feedback
이제 질문 잘
during that
적어주셨다가
session. So write them down,
해주시면 될것
your thoughts and
같습니다.
questions,
이제 두
and share them
팀이
with all
남아
of us. We have
있습니다.
two
일본은
presenters remaining.
LGBT 노인 관련
Coming up
활동을
next,
하는
we are going to
Hurple-Hands
invite
단체가
Nagayasu
있습니다.
Shibun, who is the executive director of Hurple-Hands, and he is going to share his experience in Japan.
Okay, so let me introduce you, Nagayasu Shibun, Executive Director of Hurple-Hands, coming from Japan, who will speak about the current situation of LGBTQ plus aging in Japan and the work of Hurple-Hands.
Thank you very much, sir. I come from Hurple-Hands. Thank you very much for Culture Center and Foundation to invite me to Korea and to make a presentation. Thank you very much. I begin my presentation. This. My name is Shibun Nagayasu from Japan. I am 57 years old and gay. My job is a writer, administrative scrivener, and executive director of Hurple-Hands. These are books I wrote about gay life course, financial knowledge, the same-sex partner, and as an administrative scrivener, I also prepare formal contract and will for the same-sex couples, transgender couples. By the way, gay people love traveling abroad, but I'm not really interested in traveling. This is my first time coming to Korea. I am not good at English and I can't speak Korea too. I'm very nervous. Speaking of Korea, when I was a child, listening to foreign broadcasts on shortwave radio was a popular hobby. As a kid, I couldn't buy an expensive shortwave radio, but I liked to listen to KBS Japanese language program every night. It could be heard on regular medium wave radio. This is 45 years ago. My life history is closely tied to the history of modern Japan history, modern LGBT history in Japan. It is often said Japan is very sexually tolerant. Actually, Japan has a tradition of exchange gender theater like kabuki and takarazuka. There is also BL culture and has no laws against homosexuality, but it is rare for LGBT people to come out. In Japan society, there is strong peer pressure. When you are known as a sexual minority, it means they are excluded from the society. When I was young, the gay community was understood, underground, and only nightlife. But the main contents, there was nervous. There was some gay magazine, but the main contents were pornography. There was no gay social movement at that time. In 1985, AIDS had appeared in Japan too, and the gay community became visible in society a little. In the 1990s, a movement called the gay boom occurred by a special feature in a women's magazines. So the gay community get to become energetic. The development of cell phone and the internet helped gay people know each other. In Japan, human rights movements and pride march began. Gay pride grew. I also took part in a gay youth group, formed my gay identity, and decided to spend my life as a gay person. I also came out to my mother. In this era, many LGBT young people were awakened, just like me. They wanted to spend their life with pride as gay, lesbian, and transgender, so on, to die. 30 years have passed since then, and young LGBT people now get older. I am also 57 years old. But in the generation above us, everyone got married under 30, sent a heterosexual family life. For the younger generation like us, there was no LGBT elderly role model. Our generation had to think by ourselves what our happy old life is. In fact, LGBT people will face difficulties in old age. Japan does not yet have a same-sex marriage system, and co-living with partner are unstable. We may not be able to meet our partner at the hospital. When our partner dies, we often lose our homes and savings by the partner's relative. That's why I recommend making a will or legal contract, but there are limits to their effectiveness. On the other hand, many people remain lonely until old age. Many people worry their isolated life from a young age. In addition to this, some gay men are living with HIV. Nursing homes may also refuse admission. Some people change social gender in the middle of own life. For some people, due to social oppressions, their mental health are very bad. Under the mental situation like this, some people lose their jobs or work part-time. So financial resource in old age is not enough. In short, very poor. And some people have trouble with their own family because of sexualities, and some people have no friends to request help. Many LGBT are worried about their old age, but youth and muscle are important value in the gay community. Gay men also worry about the old life, but they seem to hesitate to see the reality. This is why there is still little movement to consider issues surrounding LGBT aging in Japan. But time is cruel. We grow older year by year. In September 2020, we Hurple-Hands conducted a survey regarding old age using a Google form. We received 248 responses. 67% of respondents were in their 40s and 50s, and 12% were in their 60s. 70% self-identified as male, 20% as female. About 80% was the same-sex orientation. Blue represents people living alone, and red living with someone. As we get older, we seem to tend to live by one person. Most people live with their partner, but some live with their parents. When people reach middle age, they may have to take care of their parents. We asked what anxiety they feel in their life and what problems they are now facing. Anxieties are 1. Saving, asset formation for old age. 2. Own caregiving and terminal stage. 3. Housing. 4. Parental caregiving. 5. Money, loan, and life difficulties. Facing problems are 1. Saving, asset formation for old age. 2. Parental caregiving. 3. I want a partner. 4. Housing and job changing. At first glance, money is important, it is true. And they are also very concerned about caring for their parents. I consider respondents in their 40s and 50s seem to be caring for their parents while worrying about their own old age. I introduce Hurple-Hands activities. The Life Planning Study Group on LGBT old age was established in 2010 and became a non-profit organization in 2013, which was named Hurple-Hands. It is our 10th anniversary this year. As a NPO that thinks old age and makes people connect each other, our organization holds various gathering meetings for middle-aged and elderly LGBT people. In addition, as a reliable information center for old age life planning and same-sex couples, we also provide lectures, consultations, and tours of institutions related to old age. Although our activities are basically focused on LGBT people, we also try to send information to society, mainly in the field of elderly people and welfare. This magazine is aimed at nursing professionals, and I write an article every month for this magazine. Picture shows a lecture on old age life planning. This was before Corona. Now is held by online. We provide information about money, same-sex couples' legal protection, and social welfare systems for the elderly. I say every time, if you may feel anxiety on old age, you must get knowledge vaccine. Below the tea meeting and dinner, someone take part in by Zoom. We also hold meetings for cat-loving people, caregiver of parents, or those who have lost a same-sex partner. There are many gay bars and gay events in areas such as Shinjuku Nichome, famous gay town in Tokyo, but in their main topics they are interested in are about sex, So it is a little difficult to have a serious conversation of life course. Some people say they are glad to meet a place like ours. However, it is a pity that the participation of women is low due to gender bias. The photo on the right above shows the situation when we visited the local government's elderly consultation center and exchanged opinions with the manager. This is a picture when we have visited the tree tomb where same-sex couples can be buried together. This. This is last slide. LGBT people, regardless of age, are suffering the isolation. In rural areas, it is difficult to meet friends, and even though we meet, it is difficult to build stable friendships because doing sex is a first priority. As we get older, it becomes harder to make friends. I sometimes received a telephone from a rural elderly gay who complained of his isolation and loneliness. Even in urban areas, many gay men feel lonely and identity crisis when they lost their youngness and muscle. In my opinion, loneliness has something to do with poor mental health, addictions, and high suicide rates among LGBT people. However, isolation, loneliness, and suicide are now major problems in Japanese society too. This year, Japan has made the Act on Promotion of Policy for Loneliness and Isolation, referring to the UK. The increasing number of elderly people living by one person is also gathering attention. This number may include sexual minorities inside. But LGBT older people are rarely understood by governments, welfare workers, and even LGBT allies. I think we need to raise our voices more clearly and loudly. Now, in Japan, there is a backlash against LGBT, especially transgender people. I am afraid of the move of right-wing politicians and religious groups such as the Unification Church. Many countries need to unite on these issues. That's all for me. Thank you very much, sir.
네, 가장 시간을 정확하게 지켜주셔서
So you are the
너무나
presenter who respected the
감사드립니다.
time the most precisely, so I really thank you for that. So we heard about the situation in Japan now. It seems like the situation in Japan is more ahead of our situation in Korea. So now we are going to listen to the presenter from Korea based on the survey on old age awareness that has been conducted by our center. Well, it was supposed to be given by Han Chae-yoon. However, she just lost someone dear to her, so she couldn't make it here. So Candy from the same organization will be giving the presentation on her behalf. Well, she's kind of nervous at her, so please give a warm round of applause, please. Thank you.
안녕하세요.
Hello, everyone.
캔디입니다.
So this is Candy here.
쫄아서 떨고 있는 게
I'm really nervous. That is for sure.
난 정말 쫄았나 봐. 어떡하지?
Pardon me.
저희 한채생 원래 발표를
So
준비를
Chae-yoon
하고
Han
있으셨어요. 거의 다
was supposed to
준비하셨다가
come in and deliver her speech, but as you were told, she's in mourning now.
저한테 이제 발표를 물론 저희가 이전부터 무슨 일이 생긴다 발표한다
So
이렇게
I knew
당당하게
if something
이야기했지만
was
막상
to
저에게 그
happen, I
상황이
was going to
닥치고
have to
보니
come in and
너무 쫄리는
step
거죠.
in.
힘들었고요.
But
그래서
nonetheless,
일단
it's still,
사과를
it
먼저
is
드릴
nerve-wracking.
제가 PPT를
So I have
만들었는데
prepared
영어로
a
번역을 하지 못했습니다.
slide decks,
네,
but
그래서 최대한
I haven't had time to
그림과
translate the content,
내용들을
so
잘
pardon me.
설명을 드리는 것으로 가늠을
So I will
하도록
do my very
하겠습니다.
best to deliver the message
빨리
clearly.
할게요, 제가. 한국의 성소수자로 나이 든다는 의미를 저희가 생각을 하게 된
So
것은
when we think
아까
about
홀링님도
the meaning of
말씀하셨지만
aging
저희
as
단체
the
활동가들이
LGBT
나이를 먹기
individuals,
시작하면서이기도 합니다.
what happened was
물론 그
you know,
전에도 나이가
activists
먹으면 이제
ourselves, we
그거에 대해서
have
우리가
gotten
고민하고
older.
연구할 필요가 있을
So as we
거야라고
age,
생각은 늘
we have
했지만
thought
막상
about
저희가
the meaning
40대
of
저희 단체 이제
aging.
오지 않은 오늘
Now
모두
that we are in our
57생
40s,
50대가
and
되면서
Ms. Han is in
저희도
her
저희
50s.
활동가잖아요. 활동가임에도
So
불구하고
as we are,
저희가 찾아볼 수
even
있는
though we
롤모델
are working
자체가
as
거의 없었습니다.
activists, we didn't
제가
really
알고 있는
have any role
레즈비언
models to look
중에
up to.
60대가 넘으신 분은 저한테 아는 분 2명밖에 없어요.
I only know two
근데 저도
lesbian
제가 2명이면
ladies
다른
who are in
분들은
their
어떻겠어요?
60s.
거의 알지 못하고
So I'm one of the
게이분들도
activists.
게이분들
So
좀
think about
그래도
other just regular
종로에서
LGBTQ
활동하시는
individuals.
분들 좀 낫다고 들었습니다. 왜냐하면
I know
게이
there are some
종로에는
activists who are
나이 든
working
분들을
in
위한
Chongno,
바가 따로 있대요.
and there are some
그래서
bars
이렇게 오다 가다
sort
좀
of
더 볼 수는
designated for
있다.
older gay
하지만 친한
men.
사람이 있는 건 아니다. 뭐 이런 정도의 얘기를 들었습니다. 그래서 일단 저희가 막
But
설문조사도 2년 동안
so
하고
we
3년 동안 하고
told you that
그랬는데
we conducted
오늘
2 rounds of survey.
저희 앞에 분들 발표를 들으면서 생각한
And
건
as I
저희가
was
처음에
listening to
연구를
other
하고 조사를
presenters,
시작할 때
when
아주
we
단순하게
initiated this effort
그래.
to conduct survey and
성소수자
also
노후에
research,
대한 상황은 서양 얘기를 보면 될 거야.
we were going to
동양은
simply take a
우리랑
look
다 비슷할
at what
거야라고
was
사실
happening
생각을 좀
in
했던
the
게 있어요.
Western world.
근데 제가 그건
But it
들은 게
turns
다른
out,
나라 다양한 나라의 언어를 다
as I
알지
looked
못해서이기도
into,
했고
well, the thing is, there
저도
are some
뭔가
language
서양이
barriers.
좀 잘하는 게 있겠지 이렇게 오해를 했던 편견이나 이런 게 있기도 했던
So
것
there were
같아요.
some biases and prejudices as we were
그래서
going in.
사실 이렇게 말씀해주신 좋은 사례들을 제가
And I have
오늘 그러니까 이
taken
발표 전에는
a
많이
good
더
look
듣고
at
준비하지
all these
못해서 너무
cases.
아쉬웠고 그래서 정말
Today,
이분들
I think we
초청하고
have
얘기를 듣게
been
돼서
given
정말
a great
기쁩니다.
opportunity
여러분도
to take a look at
기쁘시죠?
other countries and cases, but I didn't really have a
한국의
lot of
성소수자 나이
cases to
듬에 대해 이야기할 때는
sort of
그
take
성소수자
a look
나이
at
듬에
as I
대한
was
맥락이
working
좀
on
필요할
these
것
research.
같아요.
So I'll just give you the context.
한국에서
of
성소수자
South
운동이
Korea.
시작된 거는 90년대 초반입니다.
So we started
그
our
전까지는
movement
뭐
in
70년대, 80년대
1990s,
이
in the
저
early
70년대
1990s.
그림은 남자끼리 징그러운 서울
So this is
고갈이라고 써
the
있는데요.
news article.
그 남자들끼리
It
있는
goes
것들을 희화하고 빈정거리면서
perverts,
기사들이
gay,
옛날에
engaging in sexual
나오기 시작을 한
activities.
것이고
So this
80년대는
was sort of
다들
frowned
80년대
upon. This
초반에
type of
에이즈 이야기가
activity
나오기
was frowned
시작하면서
upon back in
우리나라에서도
1970s.
에이즈 위험하다 이런 얘기들이
And
나오기
in
시작을 했던 거고요.
1980s, people were concerned
93년이
about the spread
되어서야
of AIDS.
성소수자 인권
And in
활동이라고 하는 것에 대해서
1993, we
아이디어를
began
가지고
our sort of
만들고
movement
활동을 해야겠다라고
to
생각하시는
protect
분들이 생겨나기
the gay
시작했습니다.
rights and
그래서
LGBTQ
이때부터
rights.
시작한 활동이 98년쯤 되면서
So in
본격적으로 성소수자
1994,
운동으로
we
좀 더 빛을
kick-started
발하게
the
되었습니다.
movement.
아이고. 그리고 아까 일본에서도 휴대폰과
And I
인터넷
suppose
얘기하셨는데 한국에서도 마찬가지로
The Japanese
PC
presenter
통신,
talked about the
지금
internet
인터넷
and the
말고
cell
인터넷
phones.
전에 인터넷
And
같은 비슷한
before
거
the introduction of internet,
했던 것이
though,
PC
we had
통신이라고
a PC
하고요.
communication.
인터넷이 생기고
And
다음
after the introduction
다음이라고
of
하는
internet,
메일 기반 커뮤니티가 있어요 한국에.
so we have
다음을
this
기반으로 카페
online
활동이
community
온라인
called
카페 활동이
Town.
활발해지면서
And we
사람들이
had a lot
거기를
of
통해서 굉장히 많이
communities, the
모이게
online
되었습니다.
communities that people were engaged in.
그런데 이제 한국의 성소수자 나이들에 대해서 가장 크게 얘기가 나오기 시작할 것이 이
And
97년부터
in
2004년까지의 이야기입니다.
1997, from 1997 to
운동이 생기고
2004,
2008년
we
이렇게 시간이
initiated our
가면서
conversation about the
97년,
aging of the
98년대에
LGBTQ
동성애를
community.
청소년에게 유해한 것으로 지정한
So,
내용이
in
담긴 청소년 보호법이라고 하는 게
1997,
생기게 됩니다.
The Juvenile Protection
그래서
Act
2000년대 초반 97년
was
8년
enforced,
이때까지는
and it labeled
온갖 커뮤니티
homosexuality as
웹사이트들에 사실은
something harmful to the
10대도
youth.
있고 20대도 있고 30대 40대
As you
다
know,
같이
in our
어울려
community, we
저
had
시간을
people
지나면서
who are teenagers and also in their
성소수자,
20s and 30s and
게이,
whatnot.
뭐
But
레즈비언 이렇게
because of
얘기가
the
나오는
enforcement of this
웹사이트들은
act,
청소년을 받으면 안 된다. 청소년은 그런
people in different
나쁜
generations were separated and
나쁜
segregated.
것으로부터 보호받아야 하는 존재이기
Because-
때문에 그런 건 접속할 수
Because of
없다라고
this
얘기가
act,
되었고
people thought
이게
that
법적으로
homosexuality was
굉장히 문제가
something
되기
dirty,
시작하면서
something
청소년
harmful,
성소수자의
dangerous to
권리를
the youth.
얘기하는 것과 별개로 우리가 뭐 벌금 내고 감옥에 가는 거는 또 다른 문제이기 때문에 점점
So
커뮤니티가 성소수자 커뮤니티와
within the
청소년
community,
커뮤니티가 굉장히 크게
once
나뉘어지기
again, there
시작합니다.
was sort of
그렇게
this big
나뉘어지면서
separation between the
청소년과
youth
성인이
group
서로를
and
잘
the
인식하지 못한 대로 약간
people
간극이
who
벌어지기
are in their
시작했어요.
30s and 40s.
그래서 센터에서는
And because of that,
2007년부터
starting from
청소년
2007,
성소수자들에 대한 프로젝트를
KSCRC
시작했었습니다.
began the street counseling program.
신천공원이라는 공원이 있는데요.
So we have this park in Sinchon.
공원에서 보통 여성 성소수자들,
So a lot of lesbians
트랜스 남성들,
and trans
사회에서
men.
여성으로 패싱되었던 어떤 청소년
So
그룹들이
those who were grouped
신천공원에
as sort
모여서
of female
논다는
and
얘기를
feminine,
듣기
they
시작했어요.
gathered
그때
together
그들이 거의 다
there.
10대였고
So they were in their
신천공원에
teens.
가서 이 10대들을 대상으로
So
거리
we
상담을 시작했습니다.
chose to go to
그러면서
Sinchon
그들이
Park
아,
and
20대는
engage these
탈반해야 되는
people.
거 아니에요? 20대들은 다
So I mean, these teenagers were
10대만
saying, "Oh,
이반하고
can I
20대
still be a
되면
lesbian
이성애자를
when
사랑하는 거
I
아닌가요?
turn
이런
20?"
얘기들을 듣기 시작해서
Because they had no
저희는
idea what was going to happen down the road.
생전 처음 들어보는 이들의 두려움과 걱정이
So we were
당혹스러웠죠.
oblivious about
근데
their
얘기를 듣다
fears,
보면 정말
their
이들은
concerns,
20대,
and as they were
30대,
opening
40대를
up,
만난 적이 전혀 없었기 때문에
we
당연히
could make sense of it because these people had no idea what was happening in the lives of lesbians in their 30s and 40s.
익숙해져서 살아야 된다고 생각을 했던 거예요. 그래서 저희가 상담을 함과 동시에
Did was we conducted the counseling sessions, and also we sort of provided the opportunities for lesbians in different generations to get together and convene and converse.
저희가
To be honest with you, our effort
50대 레즈비언을
came short.
50대 10대 레즈비언이 같이 만나고
So
보는
people in their teenage lesbians and people in their 50s, they got together and played sports games and whatnot. But as you can imagine, the generation gap is just too humongous between those who are teenagers and people in their 50s.
저희도 사실
So,
10대를 그때 대하는 것이 처음이었고
I mean, it was new for even me and my team to deal with the teenagers, right? So in 2008, they could, use their mobile phones freely.
200개, 300개를 보내는 거예요.
So they sent out 200, 300 text messages.
처음 만나서
Why? Because they were free. But I wasn't sure why they were sending me so many.
아니, 도대체 무슨 문제가 있나 이런 고민을
Interested in me? Like, is something wrong? What is happening? But later on down the road, I found out that it is so normal for them to send out multiple text messages.
성소수자 상담 운동을
So,
시작하게 되긴 했지만
We initiated our counseling project, and later on, we utilized this connection to provide them with sort of domains to have this conversation with different generations. In 2020, now that we are in our 40s and 50s, we think it's high time for us to have this revisit this issue and utilize this bridge. In 2011, we had a survey. I suppose there were some of you have responded to this survey. So when we did the survey, so we took a look at what was the type of policies that people wanted, the support policies they wanted. People said housing. So as you know, we have a lot of housing issues, and real estate market is crazy. So many people are concerned about having their own place. So we need to have proper policy support to enable us to have our safe house. And also we ask about their elderly life. What do you make of your elderly life? How is it going to look like? Anxiety was the common theme. People said they are concerned, they are anxious about what's going to happen. So there are four key reasons. I cannot even imagine getting old. I have no role models. I don't know any sexual minority people who are old. Number two, I'm concerned about my partner not being able to take care of me. In Korea, we are yet to pass this anti-discrimination law. So we do not have legal sort of protection to ensure that the sexual minority is held up to the same standard as the regular citizens. So there are some people who have hatred, bias. So we have some pride parades and also queer culture. So we do have some anti-gay people, and they have strong presence indeed in South Korea. Yes, so there are a lot of people who are fighting against us. And because the hatred is covered by the media, people have this perception that, oh, that's the general sort of perception towards the gay and lesbian people. So I suppose this the theme of care was covered in the Japanese survey as well. And the question about the diaper change, I think that was really interesting. So you have your best friends. That's great, but can you change your friend's diaper? That's another story, isn't it? And in the meantime, we have the cisgender and transgender perceptions. So cisgender, they are concerned about our society not changing, still having this lingering discrimination. But transgender people have different concerns. They have their fears are real. They are concerned about not being able to have this medical sort of treatment, medical care. So I took a look at Western cases. So transgender men and women, they go to, care houses, care home, and they have to get medical care. But the medical professionals, healthcare professionals, they are not sure if these people are capable of providing proper care. So that's one of the biggest concerns that they have. So their concern is, what if I get sick and if I cannot get the access to the proper medical care, what's going to happen? That is a huge fear. So when we embarked on our journey, we thought we could perhaps provide funeral services. So it turns out we need this expert organization which can cater to the needs of the LGBTQ community. So what do you actually need? Turns out they need a community because people feel isolated. So they don't have this huge domain that everybody gets together. Rather, because of the advancement of the internet, we have small groups of people. So, and because of that, you get more and more isolated. So you need the space where you can go and get information about what it's like for an LGBTQ individual to get old. And also you need to have access to legal counseling. So I took a look at the Western cases because I thought they would have done something better than us. So because when you think about welfare and whatnot, I think about the Nordic countries. So I took a look at the case of Australia. Australia has the Aged Care Act, including sexual minorities, which means the government is providing this service. And in Spain, so if you take a look at the Internet Hot Topics, in Spain, they have the world's first public retirement hospital for LGBT individuals. So Taiwan is doing well, Japan, Thailand, you are doing so well. So I think we have a long way to go in South Korea. So these cases gave us an opportunity to think about what we should do. So they are concerned about going back to the closet. So I suppose a lot of studies and research were conducted targeting, people who have come out already about the aging process. So these people have come out, They have lived a good life as LGBTQ individuals, and now that they have to go to the care home, they go back to the closet because they're concerned about not being able to have proper care. Because they don't know, they have this unknown fear that this healthcare professionals may not be able to provide them with the proper care that they need. So as you can imagine, the coming out process itself is a tough process. But as we are preparing ourselves to get older and being prepared to sort of go into this golden age, not only we have to come up with this long-term care facility catered to our community members, but we have to think about this type of sentiment as well and awareness. Which is why, against this backdrop, at KSCRC, we are providing educational services. So we are trying to help people to think about this concept. So many people were concerned about, and also they were interested in the social safety net when they have no marriage rights. Which is why we created the practical legal guidebook for same-sex couples. And also we decided to come up with a medical guidebook. So when you sort of utilize this healthcare services, healthcare facilities, how you are going to engage and how you are going to go about it. And also, so those in their 20s and 30s, there is a consensus that we need to discuss this issue, and also the same-sex wedding has garnered a lot of attention. So a lot of straight couples, they have these wedding services they can utilize. Wedding exhibitions, wedding expo, and whatnot, but we don't have that type of services that we can access, which is why we came up with a same-sex wedding guidebook. So if we are to age well, what do we need? I think we need imagination. We had fear. We had no role models. We didn't know what to make of this. So what should we do? We should make it up from scratch. Once again, what we have is a blank sheet of paper, which means we have this immense opportunities to create something brand new out of nothing. Just don't front upon the situation saying nothing is going to happen. No, we can make anything happen because we have nothing on the page. That take this positive light on this. To do so, what do we need? We need experts in healthcare and other social welfare systems who understand this. So we need to train them to better help us. Let's not get worried about this. Anxiety is not going to help anybody. Thank you so much. Yes, so we have covered all those presentations we have prepared. So once again, let's give them a big round of applause. So we were supposed to wrap everything up by 5 o'clock. So we were going to give you a 15-minute break, but we're going to take a 10-minute break instead. And then for 20 minutes, we're going to have a flow talk. So please come back within 10 minutes. And we will resume our session and have a group chat. Thank you so much.
저희 CMS 후원을 시작하는 걸 신청해 주신 분들이 계시다고 합니다. 정말 너무 감사드리고요. CMS 신청하면 저희가 곰인형 2마리를 드리는데요. 나는 1마리밖에 못 받았다 CMS 신청했는데 그런 분들은 꼭 저기 신청하는 곳에 가셔서 곰인형 1마리 더 받아가시기 바랍니다. 꼭 1마리 더 받아가세요.
진행하겠습니다. 음악 소리 줄여주시고 사리타님 화면 띄워주시고 사리타님 목소리 올려주세요.
Okay, can we see the screen of Miss Sarita? Can you turn up the music, please?
Sarita, we are having mic test. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. We are going to start.
Okay, so yeah. So,
네,
so it's
이제
question answer.
Okay.
네, 이제 세팅을 맞춰서 이제 2부 플로어 토론을 진행하려고 합니다.
Okay, so we are going to go on with the second part of the conference, which is Q&A session and discussion.
그 질문들은 나중에 모아서 말씀드릴 예정이고.
So we are going to collect all the questions that have been asked to hear the answers from our presenters. So while we don't have often this kind of opportunity to listen to the answers directly from the presenters, so therefore if you have any further questions while you're listening to the first answers, please don't hesitate to ask them. Well, I know that it's very difficult to ask the first person to ask the question. Okay, well, the person in orange shirt in the back of the room is raising his or her hand. Can you please pass the mic to that person? I have a question. So when it comes to LGBT community, what would be the risk factors actually for an LGBT person who age? And so instead of talking about what has to be done by the government, what has to be done actually by individuals to prepare for old age? Can you please give an example? Okay, so let me summarize your question. Okay, government policies are also important. However, what would be the things that should be prepared by us individuals? So maybe each presenter can give his or her opinion as an LGBT aging. What can we possibly do to prepare better for our golden age? So maybe we can hear from the Korean presenter first. As a matter of fact, can you hear me? Okay. What is concerning for individuals is actually one, not having money in the capitalist society. That's often the answer that is given by many individuals, but that's not really it. While we are living as LGBT, sexual minority, we don't feel connected sometimes to other parts of the society, and sometimes you don't feel respected, not just because of the lack of money. So unless this social problem is solved, even if we are provided with certain services, as long as we don't feel respected, I think there is more to be done. So I think that's the key, the sentiment of feeling respected. And we don't want to be isolated. We want to be connected to others. And we want a safe environment where we can meet other people. We want to see a role model to which we can make a reference for creating such an environment. That's why I talked about this during my presentation. That is also why we are organizing and managing open chat rooms on messengers. And we can expand these kind of opportunities and also continue with our training programs as well. Okay, maybe another presenter can give his or her opinion on this subject. Okay. Mr. Nagayasu.
講座の中で お金のこととか法律のことをちゃんと学ぼうということを伝えています。もちろんお金があればいいことはない。
Of course, it is better to have money.
お金があって不幸だと言っている人も結構いますし、パートナーがいて寂しいと言っている人もそこそこいます。
And even if you have a partner, sometimes there are people who say that they feel lonely. Because what is important for me is network with other people and information. It means like the sentiment of feeling connected to the community. There are many activities going on in Japan, and also there are a variety of professionals who have come out, like including lawyers, for example. So we need to identify and collect more information about these people's experiences as well, so that we can continue communicating and listening from these people as well. So I would like to put an emphasis on information as well as the network. Okay, so now we can hear from Hua from Thailand.
So I think it's very difficult because when you try to separate the individuals and like social structure, because it have to go together. You know, we cannot reach, we cannot have healthy life if our society don't accept us. So it's kind of connected. So this is a very important question. Thank you so much. How individual can prepare for themselves to be aged. I think one thing we have to understand first that people have different privilege. So not all the, for example, not all the trans people they went to university. Some trans people are sex workers. Some trans people are older. Sometimes people are younger. Sometimes people are, you know, not even have citizenship, something like that. So people have different like advantage when it comes to their identity and disadvantage when it comes to their identity. That's something that we have to think about. So when we work with trans people, intersectionality is something that we often don't talk about because we see it. We see transgender people as like a group that have the same interests, but actually they don't, right? But I will try to answer your question. So, as an activist, I often tell myself that, you know, being an activist, you are very like, it's very difficult to say, take a break. Because in your life, you fight for your life, but also your work, you fight for the other. So sometimes it's very difficult to take a break. And if you don't take a break, at the end of the day, you're just exhausted. You cannot even take care of yourself. So, you know, that is the concept, like healing justice. This concept is very important to individuals. So you cannot fight for yourself if you never learn how to like take a rest or take a break. So I try not to work on Saturday, but today is special days. So yes, so there is some things that I think we need to think about it. So especially when you are LGBT individual, when you go out of this room, a lot of people don't always, you know, ask question, don't always nice to you. So at the end of the day, you need a space to just relax, take a break, unwind, and then when you feel stronger, you just go out there again. So I would everybody here know how to take a break, know how to take care of yourself. It's kind of easier to say than done, but we need to practice. This is the practice we all have to learn.
Okay. After you take rest, do something. I would say when we're young, we can do something. For example, you can support any human rights NGO, any gender and women rights, our LGBT NGO, and it's help NGO to promote. Hi, bye bye. Yeah. It's help us to promote more things, and it will help us have a better life, better golden age. And the second one is, if you can, please come out. If you can, please come out. Why? In 2018, in Taiwan, we have a vote to ask, do you agree same-sex marriage? In last year, lots LGBT people come out to our friend, our family, because most Taiwan people think they don't have any LGBT friend, they don't have any LGBT families, so they vote no to same-sex marriage. So I remember in this year, lots LGBT people come out. Because when we come out, we can get more yes. Yeah. So I don't know in Korea in the future, will you have the vote to say yes or say no? But today we listen last issue about same-sex marriage. If you want more people say yes to same-sex marriage, please come out now. But everyone have different situation. But if you can, it's easier to your friend. It's more easier for your cousin or anyone. Yeah. But I think it's important. Yeah. Yeah. That's all.
네, 사리타님 계시지요?
So we have Sarita here, right? Okay, so we would like to ask the same question to Sarita.
개인적으로 성소수자로서 나이 들어갈 때 준비하거나 필요한 게
So as an LGBT individual, what should be prepared, you think?
Yes, definitely. Being a young LGBTI activist or adult, so it is our responsibility to protect and promote our elders. And since we have some of the access to reach the governments where we can fight for the elders and including the young people. So I think one of the things that we should speak from our side is we have to respect the elders, and yeah, we can support them, for instance, because of their age they were not able to move here and there, but we can. And at that situation we can support them, to bring them to the hospital, to support them to providing foods, to support them to bring to the banks and any other spaces where they want to be. So I think being a activist, so this is our responsibility, and of course when doing advocacy and lobby we should speak for them as well. And the another thing is that I really love, I forgot who shared that about the presence of LGBTIQ people. I mean, some of them, I think Candice shared about some people, they even go to the closet when they open. I had the same experiences that even our elder person, they shared that I regret to open my identity, because at least if I am in the closet, maybe my family can take care of me at this age, but now look, there is no one who can take care of me. I mean, so we should think about for them and speak for them, and also convince to those family who did not understand these diversities of our people. So yeah, we could be a support system for them, and we are the family member of our rainbow family. So yeah.
네, 감사합니다. 질문 들어온 거
Thank you for your comment.
같이 들어오면 좋을 것 같아서
So
적어주셨는데요.
actually there is a question in Japanese.
나이 들었을 때
So when a transgender individual gets old, would there be any difference when it comes to hormone treatment in different countries, and what are the policies that exist in different countries? So let's talk about this subject as well together. Maybe the presenter from Thailand could give the first answer, and then after the presentation, by a Thai presenter, I made a mistake by saying that there is a transgender-related law already existing in Korea, but actually there is none. So that was my mistake. So anyway, the question was, what would be the difference when it comes to hormone treatment in different countries?
I think one of the barrier is the availability. Across Asia, you will see that even just hormone, in different countries, there's the barrier to access to hormone. In Thailand, it's better than any other people. We have sexual health clinic. We also have gender clinic. But these clinics are only in Bangkok, which is the capital city of Thailand. The rest of the country doesn't have, maybe very limited. Especially only the big city may have one clinic or two. And the thing about Thailand also, you can, if you are transgender woman for estrogen, you can just go buy it at the pharmacy. No prescription needed for that. So it's very easier to access. But for order, I already mentioned in my presentation that they don't have information when they were young. Even now, when they get old, they may not have that information because a lot of older people, they tend to move from, Bangkok and live in rural areas or their hometowns or go back to their home if they still have home. Some people that I met during my work, they are homeless. For example, those who come to Pattaya to work when they were young, and they couldn't go back home because they ran away from home when they were young. They come to Pattaya to work as sex worker or just, doing work, anything that they can do. And then when they grow old, they lost connection with their family because when they were young, they did not really, have a connection with family. Family is not always a safe space for LGBT people. I think you understand that, and especially for trans people. So a lot of people in Pattaya, especially the elder transgender women, they live in Pattaya and they never leave Pattaya. Some of them are homeless. Some of them live under the brick. So that's the reality. For accessing hormone, if they live in the brick, I don't think they have, even though they want to access the hormone, they don't really have, resources to access to hormone. So that's also happening because in Thailand, I already mentioned that hormone treatment or hormone therapy or even gender affirming care and services are not free. So you access to it and you have to pay for it. So if you are getting old and you don't have a lot of saving, you're not going to be able to access to those hormones because it's, you don't take it one time. You take it every month. Every month is the fixed cost. If you take hormone, you take it every month. And every 3 months, you go to doctor for monitoring, check blood draw, to check all the kidney function, liver function, and all that. So it's come with all expenses. But I would say the solution for this is advocate for all government to provide coverage for gender affirming care, because gender affirming care, especially in Asia, I don't see that model yet. I mean, Taiwan have, as I already mentioned, 30%, cover, not 100%, but at least it's better than none, right? In Thailand, none. People pay for out of their own pocket. So let advocate for coverage for gender affirming care. Some European country, some state in America, they already have that. So let move that in Asia and let speak out loud, because gender affirming care is necessary and important for trans people. When you talk about health, gender affirming care is the foundation of having a healthy lifestyle for trans people. It's the foundation. So let's advocate for coverage.
Thank you so much for your answer. I think we have one more question. So microphone is on its way. So I would like to talk about mobility. So as you mentioned, within the country, medical solutions, the accessibility is important, which is why people are relocated to the capital. Because, you know, people sometimes cross borders to get better access to whatever they need. So when it comes to aging, though, I think we should continue to research on this and study this, and I'm not sure if this is captured throughout the research and survey. So how do you see this, and what type of services do you think we need? Okay, so I would like to get the perception from the Korean side first. So yeah, aside from the surveys, we have, if you take a look at other communities, there are a lot of people who go abroad because they want to be true to their identity. So many people are working on it. So let's say in their 60s, 80s, and 90s, I don't think they're thinking about, you know, what's going to happen down the road. That said, they are choosing to go abroad because they can come out of the closet and live freely. So and as you may know, in Germany, so we have Hee-san Kim, who went to Germany to become a nurse. And that person provides, you know, healthcare services and care services. And there are some people who go abroad, and while living there, they get dementia or Alzheimer's disease. So sometimes they cannot speak German any longer because of that dementia or Alzheimer's disease. They can only speak Korean. So the language barrier, as you can imagine, is going to be a huge issue for them when they are dealing with that kind of mental illness. So I'm not telling you we can do something about it right now on the spot. But what is happening right now is people cross borders, and we are not stuck in our own country. There are a lot of foreigners who are coming into Korea to live here. So we have a potential of utilizing multiple languages. We can potentially go abroad in foreign cultures. So we have to think about teaching this concept to care providers. They have to think about the possibility of this diversity. And that migration is to enjoy better lives. So I really wish them the best. If they come back to Korea, I think it is our responsibility to make this place a better place for them. Yeah, so this is what is happening in Korea. So what about other countries with better, perhaps, policies in terms of mobility issues? I don't think we can get all the input from every participant, but any thoughts?
Decentralized. So it's very important not having everything in Seoul, for example. Go somewhere else. And the other thing is, so for healthcare, so you don't need a specialist to provide hormone. Primary health care provider can provide hormone if they learn how to do that. And it's very easy. It's not difficult. So primary health care, if they can provide hormone, every hospital in the country can provide hormone. So I think that should be some things that we have to think about.
So what is happening over there in Taiwan? So, okay, so any other questions?
Okay, can you please pass the microphone to the person in blue shirt? Okay, my question is, Usually, there are many young activists in LGBT NGOs, but in an organization where the activists are older, maybe they face different kind of problems. For example, like having some trouble in relationship with the younger activists, and also how much economical contribution they are making to the organization. Maybe they're making more. I don't know. Is it like put into consideration? Maybe we can hear the case from Japan. Okay, maybe we can ask this question to our Japanese presenter.
私たちの団体もとても小さな団体で、私たちの団体もとても小さな団体で、東京のあたりでしか活動していないので、さっきの写真で見ていただいたように、
So like you saw on the photo that I was showing during my presentation. So even when we are drinking tea together at a cafe, we are just a group of 10 to 20 people. Because we don't have much opportunity to do activities relating to LGBT Asian in our community. And when it comes to a gay male, usually he has income, he has a job. So, for example, these two gay men living together, they could actually acquire their economic independence as power gays. But however, when they reach their golden age, but maybe in the case of like transgenders or females, they can fall into poverty. So, for those people or other vulnerable groups, we need to expand our support, but I don't think that's the situation right now. That's reality anyway. That's the end of my answer. And there have been also interviews that you have conducted by meeting LGBT elderly. I heard that from your presentation. And did you feel some generational gaps that you needed to overcome? And have you overcome them? Maybe like, can we hear your experience about this subject?
Sorry, I'm late. Okay. The question is when we interview the older LGBT story, okay, and I want to say a story. Yeah, in one of the how to say books, the story, the old gay. His name is maybe okay Nick. Okay, it's easier. Nick. Nick is he is now he is 80 years old, and before when he was young, he's a very famous gay bars owner, and he almost is a queen, yeah, and he helped lots of people, he have lots, he love party, yeah, but maybe 7 years ago, she lived in nursing home, and we want to visit him, yeah, but he sent message to all gay friends. He said, "Don't visit me again, because all of you are too gay. I'm afraid nurses, social work will know you are gay, and I am gay." This story is I want to share this story because today I share same-sex marriage in Taiwan. I think most people think Taiwan is better because we have lots gender equity policy, but in Taiwan we have lots problem, especially a stigma, yeah, and in Taiwan we have maybe similar situation with Korea. We have lots Christians, right? 基督徒 Christian, Christian, right? Yeah, and and in Taiwan, most long-term care system operated by Christian NGO, yeah, and the most rich woman in Taiwan, do you know the HTC, the smartphone HTC? You don't know? In Taiwan, this woman is very, very rich. She donates, I don't know how much, lots, yeah, to the anti-gay church. And this, the name Ling Liang Tang, Ling Liang Church. And the Ling Liang Church control half Taipei's long-term care system. Okay, so every time I told the young LGBT people, do you know this? When you become old, when you golden age, if you live in Taipei, 50% you will live in Ling Liang Church system. And everyone said, wow. So we have lots of problems to face. Yeah, so I just want to share this story. Yeah.
네, 지금 다 경악을 하는.
Everyone is so surprised in this room from your story. Wow, we are like running out of time, so maybe we can just hear the last question. Someone who really needs to ask this question. Okay, well, there are two people raising their hand in the back of the room. Okay, can you please pass the microphone?
예, 너무 좋은 행사에
So thank you so much for all these different presentations, interesting comments at this important event. I would like to ask two questions. The first question goes to everyone. So from many countries, you have presented some surveys that have been conducted with LGBT elderly, and maybe building on these surveys, we can have a further discussion in the future. So you mentioned like narratives that have been told and statistics. I think these are very important sources of information. But what I'm curious about is actually the older the LGBTs get, the more people we find that are married in the form of heterosexuality. And that's the reality that we have been witnessing so far. So I think, you have been telling so far that it was very difficult to interview these people with this kind of profile, of course, because they have spouses, for example, or children too, so that can be problematic for them. But despite all that, when I heard the different presentations from other Asian countries, I could see that you could be in contact with these different people in order to interview them, because like the situation in Korea is not quite the same, because when we are talking about these LGBT people who are in living heterosexual married life, there is such a huge gap and like a separation from the rest of the LGBT community. So when it comes to LGBT people who are married, living a heterosexual married life, what were the problems or difficulties that you faced when you were conducting the kind of interview? And also I would like to ask the second question to the presenter from Taiwan, Tongzhi, Hotline. In 2011, 2012, you collected narratives about LGBT lives. And I think it would be lovely to translation into Korean of these books that are so interesting to me. And when I looked up, I saw that there was a book entitled as We All Need to Be Feminists. So actually same-sex marriage act could be realized in 2019 based on the other act for gender equity education, according to your presentation. And I think it was a very interesting point, but we also need to have perspectives not only on LGBT communities but also feminism actually, right? So I think the situation is pretty much the same in Korea, not only in Taiwan but also elsewhere, that we are going through anti-feminist backlash, right? So
얘기하시고 그런
whenever you
것들을
talk
이제
about
많이
gender
활동을
equity,
하시는 단체
and when
당사자
you're
입장에서 되게
involved in
도전을
that
많이
kind of
받으실 거라는
activism,
생각이
I
들거든요.
think you often get
그리고
challenged
그런 게
by
이제 노년의
such people.
퀴어들이 성소수자들이 사실 페미니즘에 대해 관심이 없는 것이
And
취약함, 어떤 위험함과
when
같이 결부되는 어떤 문제라고
in a
저는 개인적으로
situation
생각하기
where
때문에
the gender
대만에서
sensitivity is
페미니즘
lacking,
백내시나
I think the
페미니즘을 싫어하는
risk is
어떤
bigger
조류,
for
거기에 당연히
LGBT people
성소수자도
as well.
끼어 있겠지만
So I
그런
would like to
어떤
hear an
흐름에 대해서
example
어떻게 대응하고
from
계신지
Taiwan. How are you responding to this kind of all different challenges altogether?
질문 같이 받아서
Okay, so maybe we can also hear the question from the person sitting next. Hello, everyone. I am a non-binary as well. And when I said I was coming here, one of my acquaintances told me that I look too young to be here. So maybe I belong to LGBT youth. So as a younger person, it's kind of hard for me to imagine what it would be like in later life as LGBT. So, but I have been doing some research on the organizations of long-term care, for example, and I saw an example from Germany, maybe. Actually, there is a place where it is legally possible to make toilet restroom for non-binaries. So, and I think there are also people who have like sexualities and identities that are harder to be explained. I would like to hear about each country's situation actually regarding this subject actually. So if I summarize your question, so you would like to hear answers from each country, right? Well, first of all, when you interview people who are in a heterosexual married life, what are the challenges and problems for interviewing them? And second question is about how the communication goes between non-binary group of people and the rest of the LGBT community. And the last question was, so there is this anti-feminism backlash all over the world. So what kind of endeavors have you been making for overcoming them? So maybe our Korean presenter can answer first. And there are still many people who are married to heterosexuals, and what I heard is, especially those running like bars, among many bar owners, many people are still married. But actually, before the interview starts, often they don't mention the fact that they are either married or not, and even if they say the fact, it's like, oh, I trust you, so I can just say it to you, but I don't want it to be shared with everyone. This is what most people say. So often we just get to listen to their stories to figure out what they would like to do to overcome the challenges in their life. Because sometimes, for example, they are married to a heterosexual partner, but they have LGBT sexual minority partner outside the marriage, so they have these challenges. So actually, it would be more important for us to listen to their problems, despite the fact that they are still married. And also, I don't know, maybe it would be kind of difficult to explain Korean situation to you, but I think there is something that is fortunate in Korean society, which is that we have this word, 성소수자, sexual minority, because when I am doing research on other countries' LGBT communities, we have so many different words now to express sexuality and sexual identities. So in Korea also have this debate going on about, are we going to just say LGBT or are we going to say LGBTIQ or just add more terms? But in Korea, we can just say 성소수자 in Korean, which means sexual minority, and it just kind of envelopes all different types of sexual identities and orientations. that can exist. So I think it is kind of fortunate for us, I think, because it makes it easier for us.
일본의 이야기 들어보도록 하겠습니다.
Let's go to Japan.
ありがとうございます。僕の言葉が少し足らなかったかもしれないんですが、
Thank you.
発表の中で紹介したアンケ
So
ートでは特に
I
既婚者
told you about the survey that we conducted throughout my presentation.
回答者の中にいたのかはそれ
So
は
all
ちょ
those
っとわかり
people
ません。
who married to their heterosexual partner, they had no other
そうですね
choices.
どういうことに注意してますかと言われるとあまり注意してないのが実情で、やはり上の世代の方には
So
結婚せざるを得なかった人たちも多いので、
To people who got
そういうこ
married,
ともあっただろうなと思って当たり前にフラットに
they
受
had
け止め
once
ていま
again
す。
they had no choice. If you asked them what were you concerned
同性
about,
諸
they
子という
wouldn't say
法律
they
家
were concerned about something
と
because
して
they
仕
had
事
no
をす
other
るときに
choice
例えば
aside from
遺言状を作るときなどに
marrying
配偶者
that
とはもう
partner.
離婚しているけれども実の子供がいたりする
So
と
when I
法律上
provide,
いろいろ
when
と
we
考慮
provide
しなければ
legal
いけないものがある
services,
ので、そういったことはいろいろとお話
there
を伺って
are
適切に対応
cases
するよ
where
うにしてい
children
ま
are
す。そん
involved.
な感じでしょうか。
So based upon that situation, we provided legal
네팔
consultation.
를
So I hope I
연결해
answered your
볼까요?
question properly.
Yes, the same experiences that also we had during the interviews with the respondent who were married as a heterosexual, So it was really difficult to collect the information from them because, as I mentioned about the digital device, especially, the phone that they are using, some of the phone, the contact that we again wants to take the information from them. It was so difficult, we have to reach their family members and convince them that we are taking some additional information from the communities, and it's so difficult, sometimes we face so rough word because they don't want to involve the family, especially the community members, with the movement, and so difficult. And even some of the elders, they share that they will come to certain place and the time, because it's quite difficult to to come from the home because how their family member treated them, and at that situation it's so difficult. And about so since they don't have any money to travel from here and there, and for that the the enumerator has reached to their home, and it's quite difficult, some of them did not responded even easily, because when the conversation was started, some family members come there and listen to them, and it's so difficult for them to open up and share the lived reality. They wanted to share all those things, but someone is there and listening to them, and it's quite difficult for them. So yeah, it is difficult for them even living with those partner who who are forced to marry with the heterosexual, and while collecting the stories is also difficult because someone is listening to them and they wanted to have a the private space where they can share their own stories, where their family members did not involve in that situation. So yeah, it was quite difficult for us. And when we and the major difficulties is when we try to collect the additional information, it was so difficult to reach them because we cannot directly contact them because there are different channels to reach them. So, and that was their family members' contact details, and so this is how it was really difficult to get those informations.
네, 이제 태국은 네,
Me?
대만으로
Me?
할까요?
Okay.
네.
And in our two books, here. In our two books, this book is grandmother's girlfriend. So grandmother they are really grandmother, yeah. And in this book, there are two older lesbian. They are in heterosexual married. And in this book, maybe 4 or 5 older gay, they are in heterosexual married. But if you ask the young LGBT people, what do you think a gay people marry a woman? I think most of them will say liar, stupid. Yeah. But because we interview 30 older LGBT people, so I think it's very important to educate our community. In 30, 40, 50 years ago, in Taiwan, if you are healthy and you were married, your parents were mad. Your parents will, how to say, for example, yes. So it's different situation. So Hotline wants our community is open to face this issue. And in the future, I say another story. One of our interview gay people, he is in, he have wife, and after his wife died, he come out, and 2 years later, he married a man. So I just want to say, LGBT movement must be open-minded to everyone. Yeah.
네, 그리고 페미니즘 백래시가 있었을 텐데 대만은 그걸 어떻게 이겨냈는지.
So what about the feminism backlash? There was a question about how you dealt with it.
성평등에 관한 백래시가 있었을 텐데
So
그 부분에 어떻게
does the person who asked the question suspected that there would have been a feminism backlash in Taiwan as well. So how did you deal with it? Anybody who was against the feminism movement and who was against it?
Because I say from 2011, in Taiwan, anti-gay group is more stronger and stronger. And I think most of them are anti-feminists. Yeah. So it's honest. Every time I have speech to go to school to speak with teachers, our students, our everyone, I always talk about women's rights issue first. It's honest. Every time, maybe the teacher asks me, Chiwei, can you share LGBT issue to our student? Yeah, I say, okay. But when I'm in classroom, some boys say, women are stupid. Some boys say, oh, fuck your mother. Yeah. So, you know, you can speak LGBT issue first. You must say women's right. You must say some, because I think women's right is basic issue. Because when we go to school, when I speak to everyone, most of them are heterosexual, so they need know more about women's right first. And in Hotline, in my association, it's honesty. I think when I young, I don't know women's right. I don't know. For example, I think I have some discrimination in women. Yeah, but I'm lucky. LGBT movement teach me a lot. So in Hotline, if a volunteer join us, we always teach them women's right issue first, human's right issue first, because I think it's basic. Yeah. Let's hope. Yeah.
네, 마지막으로 태국의 후아님의 이야기.
Last but not least, Hua,
마무리하려고 합니다.
any thoughts? And after that, we're going to wrap it up.
I think I like to use the word anti-gender because it's not only women, no? An anti-gender group is organized. It's not only women. It's not only women. It's also men. It's also children. It's also elderly. It's also young. It's also old. It's also everyone. they are organized, they have money, they have funding, they have more funding than us, and they organize. That's why I think the solution for this is we don't have one solution to fit all, but what we have to do is to seek all the partner we can get, all the allies we can have. For example, if we speak about aging community, we have to engage young people. So intergeneration dialogue must be conducted. If we talk about feminists, we have to engage people from the masculine spectrum to talk about feminism, because we believe that everyone can be feminist, regardless of their gender identity, sexual orientation. If we talk about gender affirming care for trans people, not only trans people must speak about it, but healthcare provider have to be involved and speak about it. So we need a new partner at this time, especially now that anti-gender movement organized with money, with resources, with more people. This is a very scariest moment, I would say, because there's so many backlash that we see around the world. For example, in Africa, where you see Uganda have anti-gay bill. If you know that people are the gay person and you don't report that person to the government, you can get arrested. So that's very scary time. That's all happened because of anti-gender movement. That's why I think, and I want to talk about aging community. That's why I think intergeneration, when it comes to working with elder people, intergeneration dialogue is very important. How can we seek new partnership, new collaboration with non-traditional partner? When we think about LGBT, we always think about LGBT. Last but not least, I want to thank you. You mentioned non-binary. I often used to think, in order for us to create the gender equality, if transgender rights, if trans people access to the rights, we all access to the rights. But now, because of the non-binary, I would say if people understand non-binary people, that people don't have to fit in boxes, I think if people understand and provide the same right as everyone, we all get all that rights the same. So thank you so much to say that you're non-binary.
I want a question. In Korea, LGBT NGO is close to women's right NGO. Yeah, it's good. Because in Taiwan, I share in my presentation, in Taiwan, because in 1990, Taiwan's gay movement is starting women's right movement. So until now, we have lots, cooperation together. For example, 2016, when we promote same-sex marriage right, women's right NGO joined us. The most important women's right NGO is Awakening Foundation. It is famous and the most important women's right NGO in Taiwan. So we are together to do last thing about same-sex marriage right. Yeah. So every time they will talk, every time we have some question about this issue, they will tell me how to do, how to face this issue. Yeah.
네, 감사합니다. 네.
Thank you so much.
저희가 다양한 이야기들을 또
So we have talked
들었고요.
about many different issues, and
너무 감사드립니다.
I would like to thank all of you for gracing us with
나라의
your
이야기를 이렇게
presence.
들을 수 있는 소중한 자리를
So
함께
this
해주신
indeed was an
여러분들과
important and also meaningful opportunity to hear about other countries
원래
and
저희가
pieces.
6시까지 대관인데
we
지금 밖에서 시설관리단 선생님이 기다리고 계세요. 그래서
About 9 minutes left, and we have folks waiting in front of the
마지막
venue.
질문이 있었어요.
So there was the
이
last
행사를 주최한 곳은
question.
어디인가요? 그건 제가 지금
So who
답변을 드릴 수
hosted
있을 것
this
같습니다. 한국 성적소수자 문화인권 센터입니다.
So the
저희
answer is
행사 와주셔서
KSCRC,
감사드리고
Korean Sexual
저희
Minority
앞으로도
Culture and
강의나
Rights
이런
Center.
자리를 많이
Going
만들
forward, we will make
테니까요.
sure that we provide
자,
more
저희
opportunities
메일링
for
가입을
you to
해주셔서
join in
앞으로도
the
많은 이런
conversation
정보들을
and make a
함께
difference.
받고 이야기를 나눴으면
And I'll be
좋겠습니다.
looking forward to
늦게까지
getting your
함께 해주신
feedback.
여러분
Once again, thank you
감사드립니다.
so
조심히
much for joining
돌아가세요.
us. Have a great night.
갖고 계신 통역기는 책상 위에 두고 나가시면 좋을 것 같습니다. 받으신 통역기는 책상 위에 두고 나가시면 됩니다.